Hey, what's going on? This is Colin's Process. Should I just name it This is Colin's Process? Should I do that? No, it's too long. This week, I'm talking to someone who's a very good friend of mine. His name's Jamie Nudelman. And Jamie is, he's into fitness. He's into website building. He's into video editing. He's into nutrition. He's into a lot of different stuff, a lot of different things. And I sit and talk to him for a while. This is actually, how long was Jamie? Whoa, me and Jamie did a 3-hour one. That's weird. I actually have had Jamie. Jamie's actually the first reoccurring guest. I had Jamie on when I first started the podcast, and we spoke, but we didn't go too deep into him. This one, we actually went into his story and how he actually became well-versed in all these different things, and has a surprising starting. And yeah, the whole thing's surprising. I didn't know as much about him as I thought until we did this episode. Jamie is pretty amazing. I'm actually I'm super unprofessional. I'm looking up Jamie on Instagram right now just because I want to see what it says. I'm just gonna read out his bio. High impact video for visionaries who want to engage their audience and increase lead generation. Happiness Beyond Business is his podcast. He is an INFJ. That's like a personality type. That's like super important to him. I think I'm like an ENP or something like that. I don't know. Whatever. But I do like this podcast. And to Jamie. Oh man, me and Jamie, we were talking. Jamie was like, "Man, I don't think you're that busy. You haven't been answering my messages and this and that." For anybody who's not in the film space, the industry, the on-screen industry, the big silver screen, whatever the fuck you want to call it. If you're not in this industry, you don't get it. When you're a production assistant, you actually don't have any time. You literally work 18 hours a day, and you don't want to engage in any kind of long conversation with anybody unless it's your significant other or like one of your core like best friends who like need something. You pretty much make that movie, that show, that series, whatever. You make it your life, and like that's all you have time to do. So I'm sorry, Jamie. I'm sorry this episode couldn't come out sooner. I'm sorry that I couldn't get you all the clips and information that you wanted and everything. Please believe me, I have been super busy. Also, a little bout of depression. Little smoking weed too much. A bunch of things happen. These are the things I do when I'm depressed. I wasn't just like lounging and chilling, smoking weed. I had a bunch of things going on. Bunch of things I was figuring out. So I do apologize. And I hope when you hear this, you message me and we can talk. Because we're friends. There was a pause there, right? I was thinking of it. I was like, well, why? And I was like, because we're friends. That's all that matters. There's a bunch of other things I could have said, but I'm like, all that matters is that we're friends. But very interesting conversation with Jamie. Check him out on Instagram. His name, this lucky motherfucker, his name is Jamie Nudelman. That's what his name is on Instagram. He's so lucky. And he got JamieNudelman.com. Wow. Okay, well, this guy's killing it right now. Give it up. Listen in. Tune in. Am I getting better at these intros or worse? I think I'm getting worse. Either way, here is Mr. Jamie Nudelman. You are now listening to The Process with Colin Cummings. That's my intro song right now. You like that? That's it. That's all I got. All right, guys. This is The Process. Oh, man, this is too low. It's too low.
So, like, are you going to instruct them on how to set up their camera properly? Today on the camera show.
It's too high. Okay.
Maybe you're too high. Yeah, I noticed you have a bag of peanuts there, with like a squirrel on it.
Right?
It's kind of cool. Got the Buddha there, the plant.
Yeah, the Buddha. And the Buddha has a koi fish
Mm.
around his neck, right? And the koi fish is down there. So the Buddha is a symbol of enlightenment. The koi fish, in mysticism, in the culture, the koi fish goes up the waterfall, and then it becomes a dragon. And that's what it looks for in attainment. But this koi fish is struggling to get to enlightenment. That's what that symbolizes.
So like, is that supposed to resemble like the situation now, or
That's
what's going on?
that's me, my life.
So it's a representation.
Yeah, I used to have its eyes covered with that little hairband because that's my girlfriend's hairband. But then I took it off and I use it as a halo now. It's a representation of me.
We call that evolution,
Yeah,
evolving.
yeah, exactly. Definitely have.
What's that term Jason Silva uses? Transcendent? No, isn't that?
Transcendent?
No, that's not the term.
That could be the term.
It's in that video where he talks about Ruki. Can't think of the term. Oh well, it'll come back.
Man, here with Jamie Nudelman. Look
Yo.
at you.
Look at you.
I know, right? Man, these things are going to turn off like in 30 minutes, 28 minutes. Actually, I'm going to set an alarm for it. 25 minutes.
So every 30 minutes, there's your segment.
Yeah, right. I'm learning. I took this episode as time to learn. So that's what I'm going to do.
Time to learn.
Yeah. Only because we know each other.
I know, it's weird.
Yeah.
Have like the past guests been like just randoms?
Yeah, well, yeah, basically. Brandon V, Tom Ness, as you know.
Mm.
This guy Florian, mindset coach for high achievers. After that, who was the fourth? I can't even remember.
Yeah, I'll come back to you.
Who's the fourth person? Rod Norville. There you go. Bang. And then I did my buddy Phil.
But bam, now I'm sitting there.
Yeah, yeah. Sorry I was late, man.
You're busy doing your thing.
Well, I saw my buddy for the last time, probably for a couple years, until either he comes back here or I go over to Calgary. So it was a touching goodbye. It's always hard for me to like say goodbye to people.
It's that feeling of letting go because you're so used to having someone there, and then.
Well, like I told you, we had a falling out. I hadn't seen him for like 3 years, and then all of a sudden we just saw each other, and then it was like we became like through the podcast, through the 3-hour conversation. It's like we reconnected so much, and then all of a sudden it was like we were walking on Yonge and Steeles, and it was like the last hug for who knows how long. It was actually like hard. I was like, man, this sucks. He's gonna be gone, and that was it.
Wouldn't it be amazing if with everyone you meet, you do a 3-hour podcast? Because like in 3 hours, you can really it's like dating. You get to know someone.
Yeah, right.
But like everything's like dating. Dating is literally getting to know someone.
Yeah, exactly.
So why not just sit down with everyone you meet and you'll know everything about them to a certain degree.
Well,
You know so much more. You'd be like,
yeah,
I get you now.
yeah. So far,
I have an idea.
So far, sitting down with people is that's exactly what it does. It gives you such a good perspective on them.
Mm.
Like you understand so much after. It's weird. I love it. I absolutely love it. I love sitting down with people and talking like this.
I know. I kind of like the energy just kind of like flatlined into like a really good state right now. Like it's just calm. I mean, I make it sound bad, but it's like
you've because you were a little nervous coming.
No, actually, the first time we did the last time we did something like this, I was actually sweating. But now I'm kind of just like maybe it's because it's winter, but
yeah,
and
we know each other a lot better.
See, and that goes back to that point where
right.
You get to know them. You're like, you feel safe and comfortable. Not like I'm anxious. I met him once. My hand was clammy when I shook his.
Man, I've spoken to you and cried. Like we've had a whole journey since that podcast.
Yeah, it's true.
We've connected.
I've cried too. Well, I haven't cried on like the mic or anything for you, like voice messaging and all that. But there was a moment when that happened too. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was like, dude, I'm crying.
Yeah.
I need help.
Yeah.
I'm sad.
Right.
Need a hug.
It happens. It's good, man. I think it's really good. I've learned to really open up in that way. But what should we call you? I don't know. I called that one guy a mindset coach. Rod was an entrepreneur. Since you just got reignited with your content, what do you want to call yourself going into it?
Well, my own content's my own content, but I'm known as the implementer.
The implementer.
I implement and finish stuff for people. So, the conversation I was having with a friend, and like we were talking about how most people I work with right now, they're the head, I'm the neck.
True.
I connect them to the rest because
True.
most people need that on the back end, but also on the front end. So with everything I'm doing content wise now, it's like, let's get it done.
Yeah.
Let's get it online. But by the way, I'm also going to be the head and talk because, you know, I can do it for myself. So it's like,
You know what another word for the neck is? Oprah.
Damn. Soon I'll be giving away cars. Car for you? Car for, no.
Oprah or like fawn, something like that.
So like I'm a baby deer.
Yeah, her name means something in like a language. I don't know if it's Hebrew or something, but like Oprah means
Hebrew. I should know that one since I'm Jewish. Fell
Yeah.
off that.
Don't worry about it. I got it covered. Anything Jewish related, I'll cover for us.
Are you secretly Jewish? No.
Man, so yeah, I guess the implementer. So I want to know, first off, what ignited you to get back into the content? Because we've been talking for, I want to say, 5 months. I've been like, yo, you should make content. You should be in front of the camera more. And like really making shit. Like, you know, really like doing, like the post that you made today was like you should be doing that every day.
Yeah, that one was really good because I kind of just, it was weird because when I wrote the post actually, and I'll answer the question too with that, but when I was writing it, I was like, how do I even do this anymore? Like what did I used to do to get my, because you know, like you have like your formatting.
Yeah.
And I made the video, which for those watching, it was like an Instagram video, like a square video with captions and, you know, just a quick minute piece of content with me talking in the zone. And when I was sending it to myself by Gmail, which is what I did, I'm like, oh yeah, I have to write like the description. And I'm like, well, I'm trying to blow up something here, so I have to write. But when I used to write prior, I wasn't really inspired anymore. I lacked motivation.
Yeah.
Kind of didn't know what the end goal was. I don't know why I was doing it. I'm like, oh, here's a picture of me bench pressing, and it's like, that was my last post. Like 3 months later, I'm like, okay, I'm back, but hold on, I'm finalizing. But then I wrote it. I started writing again, like on my laptop, like to the email to myself with the video file, and I'm like, wow. Like I wrote like 300 words for the description, and I said to myself, this is really good. Everything just flew out of me. It came right from my heart, and I'm like, wow, this is heavy in a good way, and it's very like loving. It's very like inspirational, but not because I'm inspired in the moment, just because I feel this energy around me.
True.
Like it's just like a force field that I'm stuck in, or like I'm attached to. So that's that. But then what got me back into it?
Yeah.
You know, I just had enough of being behind the scenes. So like we say implementer, but like too much implementing and not too much being in front of the camera. And as we talked about being a speaker or making content and just, you know, letting out my voice and what's inside, it gets riled up in me, and I'm like, this sucks.
Yeah.
And then you got me on board the David Goggins, like his new book, and I've been listening to it. I'm almost done the first way of, like, I want to listen to it like the full way through, and then get onto the let's do it again to get those challenges in. I'm gonna start doing that.
Yeah.
You keep telling me do it, and I'm like, okay, I gotta do it.
Yeah, man.
And you always hold me to that too. You're always like, hey, you gotta do this, and I'm like, man, like one of the only people who challenges me. But through listening to Goggins, I was like, man, like this guy's been through hell.
Yeah.
So what's my excuse for not making, like, let's say 6 videos in one day, which is what I did yesterday, actually.
That's crazy.
To be specific, I woke up, did my meditation, got my gimbal, put my phone on there, and I just started recording because this energy was in me. I'm like, I've had enough of being like nothing.
Yeah.
And I am something, obviously, but I'm like, I don't feel good.
Yeah.
And I want to feel good. I want to feel good inside and outside, and I want to let it out. So then I spoke to the camera, and I made 6 videos. I made 8. 2 of them were just practice.
Yeah.
Made 6 though, and they flowed. The words came out of me. It made sense. And then I felt this rush of like relief because I had done it. And then I started editing, got it done, and I was like, wow. But it didn't hit me till I got the feedback that I got from people. I had about 10 comments.
There you go.
On a page that I never post on. And I even had one person reach out to me and say, hey, how did you make that? And he has a big following and he needs content done. So that's technically, I said to him, well, I do this because I edit on like Adobe software, which is a bit more complicated because you can use iPhone apps and stuff like that to make it easier.
Yeah.
But then I said to him, but by the way, if you want, since that takes time, we can figure something out here. So that's like a potential lead off one video.
Right? Like, why be, like, being an implementer is good, right? For when it's needed, but like, why not be a practitioner? It's like, why not show yourself? You're an authority. Do it. People see it. Like, not only are you the person doing it, the face, but you're the person who made it. And like, you're the person who can help the other person get that same result. Like, I don't know. I see that in you a lot. Like, you're a good speaker when you get going, and like, it's like, why not just utilize it?
Well, that's the thing. I'm good at doing it. I'm good at doing it. Like, when I'm good at doing something and I can replicate it, and then others want it, and then I can give it back to them. Yeah. And show them how. And I teach my clients how to do that. A lot of my clients actually rely on me, or else they're literally effed. Like, they won't be able to do what they got to do without me. Which is why I say the implementer. And like, now that I say that, there could be another word for that. You know?
What's that word?
It's a good question, because without me, they don't have anything. Like, I'm the one I'm like the glue, you know?
You're like the balls.
Yeah. The balls.
Yeah.
Like, I agreed. I'm like, wait a minute.
Nothing's going on without the balls.
It's true. You need the balls.
You need it to get shit done.
The glue was cool, but like the balls.
That's where the glue comes from.
We're talking on that level.
You see?
I implement the glue that comes from the balls.
Right?
No, that's a bit too much. It's horrible.
That's a bit too much.
You can cut that out. Or keep it.
Nothing gets cut out.
Oh, yeah?
I don't cut things out.
I know you don't. I'm just saying that for fun. I want to see your reaction.
I never cut things out.
You got to poke. I'm like the poke. I like to poke people until I see what they do.
You said that. You actually said that in that post, that long post where you tagged a bunch of people, thank you post. You actually said that you do that.
Yeah, I admitted that like the reason like a lot of things have not failed, but it was tied to relationships too, and like friendships, because I like it's because one of my, I don't want to get into personalities yet with that whole thing, but it's part of my personality where I like to test people and push them to their limits until they break down. And I see where they hit the wall, and then I help them from there. It's kind of a thing my dad did to me.
Wow.
Like, he loves me, he supports me, and he kind of shows it. Rarely, like he doesn't. He's very apathetic. So, but when things get tough, he'll show it. But he wants me to hit rock bottom, in obviously the sense of what that can mean and what it's applied to. I could be successful and be making lots of money, but still hit rock bottom emotionally. And then he'll support. Let's say he wants to support me. He can just lift me up and then guide me as like a leader. Yeah. So it's like I do that to others based on conditioning. So in past relationships tied to that post that I mentioned that, I would get my partners and like always poke at them and test them and say things, and while knowing it's gonna piss them off. And then they're like, "Why?" And I'm like, "Okay, now I know your limit." Like, no, it's not it. Like, now I'm upset.
Yeah, exactly. That's where it borders. Like, it's like, You want to do that, but then like once somebody gets upset, it's too much. I think at least when you're working with people.
Yeah, all
when
the time.
You're doing it like between friends, you can make them upset and like
friends
explain like, hey, I was just like. That's what. Yeah. So it's basically constructive trolling.
That's actually a really good way to say it.
Yeah.
But what are you doing, Jamie? Well, I consider it constructive trolling. I'm trying to break your barriers. I'm trying to see where you're gonna break and cry. But it's all a joke.
Yeah. Man,
ball buster.
There you go.
Bring back that ball term,
right? I should actually tell people. I like actually doing this. I'm actually gonna do this more and actually talk to the people, because I want this to be like a vlog / interview / just weird thing that I do. The process. It's like a vlog, but it's also a podcast and it's also interviews. And I want it to weave in and out. Jamie is an editor, so he edits videos amazingly. You pretty much know the Adobe suite. You're like an Adobe suite expert, I guess you could say, in a way. And anything you don't know, I'm sure you can learn like within minutes.
Yeah, I've learned that anything like, I can basically, I'm the kind of person where you give me something and I have no idea how to do it. If I want to, that's the trigger. If I want to do it and let's say I have to, say, I can go in there and just learn it, because I know so much about coding and like front end. Obviously, I don't do like Python and C++, although Python's not that difficult, but
no,
like C# and all that, I don't do that type of coding. But the front end and then like the editing and the software and like the Photoshop stuff, I've done it for so long that if someone says, hey, I need something done that's illustration based, okay, cool, vector, let's go, Illustrator, pen tool, draw, dim, then there you go.
Wow.
and then pull it back in Photoshop, do all this stuff. Like I'm just making an example.
You
of
even said the terms.
Yeah, because like my one client told me that. Like he sent me a Gary Vee video, and he's like, "Can you replicate this?" I'm like, "You want me to copy this? Hold on, let's make your own." It was like the one where Gary's talking on his phone and the text bubbles come up. And I'm thinking, how would I do that? And I'm like, okay, well, I'll just bring it in. I vector draw the chat bubbles. And I was just like, yeah, it's easy. Like I can just process things when I see it. Any type of content I look at, yeah, I know how it's done.
You might as well do that.
Yeah.
You should actually do that and also Jamie's actually a web builder. I guess we can call it web builder, coder, website
I do a lot
builder.
I'm a jack of all trades. I mean, like, yeah, like I do a web builder. I mean, like I build websites.
Yeah.
I do page building, landing pages, funnels,
Yeah.
all that stuff. Even email backend, CRM systems. I'm all about lead generation though.
Yeah.
And I've stepped into that role recently. I used to be very insecure about it because I didn't believe I can do it. It's past insecurity tied to an old friend of mine who mentored me.
Really?
Yeah. I think I connected you to at one point, but
okay.
I won't do names here, but it's just a past insecurity because it kind of reminded me of my dad, where like he would talk down to me and not make me feel good. Not that he wanted to do that. It was the side effect. And then my friend did that to me. And then I'm like, I guess I'm not good at this then. It's like, no, you can be good at that. But then now I stepped into lead generation.
I actually had a similar experience when I first started learning.
Oh,
Adobe.
did you?
Yeah, because when I first started learning, again, we won't name names, but
no,
the person was, it made me feel like I couldn't do it. Like they were too like aggressive when they were teaching. So I was like, fuck, maybe I can't do this.
Well, they instill doubt.
Yeah.
And if you're one who already has doubt, it's going to be a lot harder.
Especially like for me, I was stepping into something that I knew nothing about. Like you mentioned at one point you were coming from gaming. So like you were like good with like hotkeys and like typing and everything.
Yeah.
Where I was coming from like nothing. I was coming from like...
There's a big difference. Like, so it's good you brought that up. Actually, I wouldn't have brought that up. Gaming. So people say gaming is a bad addiction, and it is. Too much gaming can really damage you, but it can also make you smarter. So a lot of these kids who game hardcore, let's say, because for me it was World of Warcraft.
Yeah.
And but like MMOs, so mass multiplayer onlines games, you learn how to strategize. You learn how to time things. You learn how to create rotations with spells and certain talents and traits of your character. And then you have other characters and classes that have their own certain things. So you learn how to watch one thing while watching another, but your eye's still knowing about what's happening over here. And then a third thing comes, but you're still in both spots. So while editing and doing work, you give me 3 monitors, the same thing's happening. And then you apply the same buffer. By buffer, I mean you learn to code, you learn to hack and play with different, let's say,
elements.
Yeah, like HTML, cascading style sheets, so CSS, like the stuff that I would do. You kind of learn that by coding, you think more outside of the box than being inside, and you learn how to be creative. So if I need to do one thing, like if I have to make one edit, how can I do it? There's not just one way, and we would originally think that, but there's multiple ways. So then you can, while doing it, think of multiple solutions. So if this fails, can I do this? There's also that, but I'm still going here. And these solutions are still there in the memory bank. So like the gaming, the coding, the hotkeying, as you said, and then being so conditioned to doing it for years, it all ties together. It's strategic thinking. And
so weird.
I came to this conclusion 3 years ago when I was trying to figure out why I'm so intelligent, but I didn't think I was intelligent. But I've realized I'm very intelligent now because it explains why I'm able to do things so articulately. And also that ties into like my verbality too and my ability to write so well.
I'm glad you're so modest.
Well, I'm not. Does that mean I'm being cocky? Because those watching don't know me.
No, because like I was actually gonna, as you were talking, like a question that came up into my head is, how did you become so informational? Because like even as we're talking right now, I like to keep my conversations light and everything, but like even when I get into it with you, like right away it gets very informational.
I'm technical I'm technical and logical.
Technical, that's what I should say.
Yeah, it's technical. Because I like explaining things. It comes from when so the other thing, I used to be I'm in the health industry. I used to be a health coach and then a personal trainer as well, which is why because most of my clients are online health coaches.
Yeah.
I'm to tie in the video and web stuff. That's who I work with. But I know it so well. So when people used to come to me and ask me questions about health, they'd want like the 2-second answer. And I'm like, that's not going to help you. That's the Band-Aid. That's not even a Band-Aid. That's like, we're putting the alcohol swab and then you're running away from the pain. No.
Kiss on the knee.
Band-Aid, wrap, this, that, change it, rip it off, try again. Like that's what health is. It's not just A to B, it's A to B, then B to C, C to D, and so on. And then because of that, I had to learn to explain to people all the science, all the this, if they really wanted the answer. And I got really good at it. I got really good at explaining things because it's like a leadership quality, you know, but it's also knowing how to dumb it down.
Yeah.
So I'm very technical with things on like how the body works, how things work, because I can explain things in a certain manner.
So it started in fitness?
Yeah.
Really?
And I would say maybe a bit prior, but before fitness, I was unsure of myself.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, what was before fitness? Like, how did you start? Like, how did your whole journey begin from like where you are now? Like, when did all this start with you? So it started in fitness?
When we say this, we mean
just in general, becoming a professional, becoming a entrepreneur.
Yeah, because I remember before all this, I'm like scratching. It's like it's my ear. My ear's actually itchy. I gotta fight the pain. Before all of this, because it's good to give context. I mean, I didn't know how to be a professional. And obviously the illusion of everything around us makes us think we have to go to school, do all this, do all that. And I went to school. I went to college for 4 semesters from 2010 January until 2011 April. I still had general electives, you know, the stuff you got to do that they make you do. Yeah. And I didn't get my diploma until like 2012.
True. Following year, or
2013. I forget what time. It was 2012. So I went there for digital media. I learned about, you know, everything, graphics. That's where I learned my vector stuff. I never do vector stuff, and I still know it. So graphics, vector, sound, video, web, which is that's what influenced me originally. I learned web from this prof who was like a troll. He was like a criticizing troll. Probably ties into it too. And it's like this bigger guy who's like working at this company in Toronto, and I'm like, this guy's a dick.
Wow.
But I like his attitude. So like I got into coding, and I learned that. And we did other things like project management. It's just like a basic digital media course when it was blowing up. And that's what turned it into digital marketing. Like 2014, 2015. That's when it got popular. And now it's just everywhere. Everyone should be is conditioned to it. But prior to that, yeah, I keep checking that too.
Okay, good.
It's like flashing a little bit, but it seems okay.
No, it's good.
I was like in high school, I was doing like, we had those Comtech classes. That's what they called it. And I used to do Flash and like light website stuff and Dreamweaver back when.
Dreamweaver.
I know, like Dreamweaver is like the worst to work in. I think corporations use it for big backends, but you always want to custom code on like I use Sublime Text because it just looks sexy. Because you want it to look sexy. It's like your pride and joy. Like that's your editing, you know.
Yeah.
That's your coding zone. Like you want to be there. Like do you want to drink like the plastic coffee cup, or do you want like the high quality cup, the cup that says you're a sexy beast, you know, like you're the Goggins. Yeah.
Wow.
Imagine that.
Jeez.
Trademark that cup. Sell it on Amazon. No. Trademark. I don't think you'd get a trademark on that, actually. I'm being crazy.
On Goggins? No, man. He'll jump through your fucking windows, smack the shit out of you.
And then take you on the journey with him.
Right?
We're running for 100 miles.
Yeah, he'll put you
You'll be pissing. You'll be pissing blood. But yeah, so high school contact, did all that stuff. And then I kind of had like a semester off where I was gaming. I was playing hardcore games. This was one MMO where it was like you just had to literally grind all day. I got so used to being. It was a game where normal people who played World of Warcraft would never play it. It's like the most technical game. You needed like a G13 Logitech keyboard, which was so imagine a normal keyboard. A G13 would be like this thing for your hand on the side, and it would have all your hotkeys, and you'd have your mouse, and that would be like your WASD. Like so if you're in games when you run, you use, imagine the arrow keys, but it's WASD.
Jesus.
Like the left side of the keyboard. And then you'd have all your other keys around it, like the Q and the E and the R, the T, the V. You would keybind all those, but on this other pad. It was specifically designed for that, so your keyboard letters don't get confused. The point of explaining this is it was so hardcore that you had to be good, because everyone who was hardcore at the game, well, as much as they were like low lights with no like nothing to do, and their parents, you know, in like their basement or something, right?
Yeah, of course.
And I was that too. I was living in my parents' basement, not doing anything. I did that for 4 months, and then came that choice where, well, I got to do something. Like I know I'm smart, and I know I'm a human being, but I don't have any focus on what I want to do. So I just chose this course because I knew I wanted to do like something in the Flash realm, and Flash was already like on the verge of dying, which it already did. And then HTML5 took over. But then I went into this whole college program, and like that's what the timeline is really, because then the college program came, and I went through that, and I'm like, well, I finished that, and I did a couple one-off web projects here and there, and you know, I didn't do any video editing then. I wasn't even into that.
Okay.
But I didn't really know what I wanted to do. And I mean, if you want to jump in and like ask more questions, that's fine. But that's what led me to then YouTube in 2012, where I started making videos. later on.
So you did that whole course and then you started making videos about what?
Well, I did the web thing for a while, and then I was still at home gaming. Bought a second monitor.
Yeah.
Had a spare laptop. I had like this whole setup. I was proud of it. Built this whole monster gaming rig, and I started doing Minecraft videos. I started playing Minecraft with friends. We'd play till 4 a.m. We'd record videos on community servers. I joined a community, and it was like a cult, and we would just make content, and it was really weird. And I learned to edit. That's how I learned to edit videos. I learned by just messing around.
Wow. See, yeah, that's exactly how I learned, right? Not by exactly messing around, but like by needing to do something. Like something prompted me that I had to edit video.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
I know exactly what that feels like, because you're curious and you don't know what it is, but you just want to do it because you know there's something there that's sparking you.
I like that. You're curious. Yeah, that's so true. Because that is how you find most passions. It's like you're curious and you don't really understand why, but this thing, it's like a good thing. It's not bad. It's like it's not hurting anybody, and you're just like really into it.
Mm-hmm.
And then from there, you just kind of get those dopamine hits every time you like edit a video or make something that actually works.
Actually, that's what happened yesterday, and it got even more. Like it was really nice when I recorded that. That was probably the dopamine when I filmed 6 videos. That one just stopped.
That's actually amazing that you say that, because as you were talking about making 6 videos, I was like, I wish I could have that feeling all the time, because I love the feeling after because that's what I did. I told you that day when I got back here, I made 6 videos and I was like, man, this feels so good.
It does. And I made those 6 videos, and I told you about it, and like I sounded really inspired. I mean, those voice messages, I was like, I'm done. F this. I did it. I followed my routine, and something clicked. I hadn't felt like that in years. It's like I've been suppressed. Yeah. And I don't know what caused it.
Yeah. See, that's what I'm trying to figure out. What gives people that mental shift? Because like it seems like you went through a shift. Like usually, like if we sat down and chilled, even when we were at your place before, you wouldn't pull out the camera and like make a video like that. Like,
no, I wouldn't.
Very prompted. You were like, I have to do it. You did it over there, and then you're like, no. And then you sat down here and like you made sure you got it done. And I wonder like what gives people that shift to like want more.
It's because you want to. I shouldn't just answer that right on the spot. I mean, it's a tough question to answer, because we're inspired by so many things. But it's really, I did a live stream on it yesterday on routine, on how it's not about resolutions, it's about routine and habit. True. And at some point the habit sticks, and then you form the routine.
True. Because
like when you want to start, you're running, right? I look at that and I'm like, you're crazy. But then I'm looking at your progress every day on Instagram, and like I'm looking at, it's a PR. I'm like, well, clearly there's progression.
Yeah.
So it's not all for nothing. There's something you're chasing.
Definitely.
And I'm sure you can tell me that there's a big result coming from that.
Man, it's just, I don't know, your brain's on fire after you run.
And that's the thing. Running and walking is just, the release gets you into the zone.
Yeah.
It's the same thing. That's how I feel. That it's like a clear state, right? An emptiness. Like you feel just like, let's do this. I've been getting that from the routine I follow. I've been purging my body of everything.
I like that. I want to get into that. What's your routine? Because I have,
Should we finish up, or should we just dive into this?
Yeah,
go with the flow.
Or like, yeah, whatever.
Yeah, that's cool. Because routine-wise, there's so many things that I've been, I guess you can say, adjusting. And the reason for the adjustment, well, first off, I'm when I was a health coach, I was all about routine and hacking the routine. So biohacking, health hacking. I even work with a company still that is about health hacking, where like we figure out ways to naturally enhance performance, libido, sex drive, testosterone, all this stuff, your energy, the way you sleep, because all of those things are vital. Yeah. Even the water you drink, the air you breathe, the amount of electronics you have around you. Like, not to say it, there's a lot of electronics here, but when they're all on, we're a bit affected after.
Definitely.
So the routine is so crucial, and I was about that. But I reorganized my routine. I went from living at a condo, where it's what you mentioned earlier when you came by. Now I'm at my parents'. And when you move somewhere, you readjust, and you don't feel comfortable. And I'm not saying comfort's not always the answer, but you want to feel at home. It's a home feeling. Yeah. But home's in the heart, obviously. Like you can be comfortable anywhere, but it's knowing you have all the essentials. And for me, with the routine I'm about to explain, it requires that. And it's insane because my trip coming up, which we'll get into soon, I'm bringing all this stuff with me. And everyone thinks I'm nuts. My parents are like, "Are you crazy? You're bringing an extra suitcase with all this stuff?" I'm like, "Listen, it's $30 per flight for an extra suitcase or an extra $100.
Yeah.
If that's my health, well, clearly money's the problem. Well, you just got to spend. You have to spend to maintain your health, and that's very important in 2019. I almost said 18. That's funny. Happy New Year.
Right.
But yeah, the routine. I'll explain it yesterday because I did it really well yesterday. I typical wake up, whatever time that is. Usually meditation, writing. I do 2 forms of writing now. I write in my goal book, which I have here, and like the things I want to get done, minor to-do list, like 2 things a day. Keep it simple, like 2 major things and like maybe 1 or 2 minor things. And then from there, I have a book where I write, and if I feel like writing, I free write on a page. It's like a notebook, very small. And I feel like I do some left-hand writing, get my brain going, because you want to balance both sides of the brain.
Yeah.
I'm right-handed, so my right side's more active. Let's get my logical side going more. Same with brushing your teeth. Use your left hand. And just try things out. Experiment. My writing's atrocious with my left hand. It's actually funny to watch. I'm like, am I like 3 years old?
Yeah, it's horrible.
Yeah, I'm like, yeah, and I love it. And then when that's all done, I jump right in. I make celery juice. This whole craze has been happening with the medical medium Anthony Williams talking about celery juice and juicing, and I mean it's not new. It's not like recent news. It's old news. People have been juicing for a long time.
Yeah.
But people just don't understand. He's brought out all this science and all this this truth about it. Where if you read his book, let's say Liver Rescue, which is his most recent one I've been reading.
Yeah.
He prompts the whole celery juice thing. You make 16 ounces with 1 bunch of celery, and then you follow this other protocol where you juice like limes. You have that too. So I do 2 limes juiced, then I juice my celery, and then I have I drink that 16 ounce. I wait 15 minutes. In that interim, I'm boiling water. I get a bowl. I put a Granny Smith apple in there, and with anything I buy that's fruit now and vegetable, I don't trust the farmers. I don't trust pesticides. I don't trust anything.
Yeah.
I don't trust anything because it's crazy. Doesn't mean I'm like overthinking. It's just let's clean things up.
Mm-hmm.
Let's make sure what I put inside of me is the purest form it can be, the best I can do. So I water it down with boiling hot water.
Mm-hmm.
And the surprise is that in that water you'll see oil, you'll see weird chemical lines, you'll see all the pesticides and wax come off that apple.
Definitely.
Cut that up, eat it. There's my jump start for the body. There's my glucose. My liver can just start working because I'm trying to fix my liver after a couple of a bit of buildup of parasites and stuff. So I've been clearing my body of all that, and that's not even that's like the start. Next step, I do oil pulling.
Okay.
I do like a teaspoon of coconut oil, tablespoon in my mouth, 15 minutes. Spit that out, clean my mouth. Then I brush my teeth. Then, because I've done all this work, and once that's done, Epsom salt bath. So you're probably thinking, man, you must have a lot of free time. But this takes about an hour and a half. And I tell people you want about 2 hours every day if you can to yourself to be in a non-reactive zone.
My morning routine's 4 hours.
Okay,
Easy.
Good. So I feel good then. Sometimes it's 4 for
That's
me too.
why I wake up
be...
at 4 a.m. Right? It's like you have to, you have to win the day somehow.
And that's the routine. And then after that, I eventually, if it's a gym day, I go to the gym.
Yeah.
I'll take my BCAAs if I have to. If I feel like it, I go to the gym. Take my B complex. Take my things I need. Colloidal silver. All the natural remedies. Go kill a workout, whatever day it is. Come back, and then I'll eat, and then I'll start working. And it's like 3-4 hours.
Yeah.
Sometimes take my time.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of people do the same thing, but the routine's awesome because it's almost like you're building up to this point where like you feel like, cool, I've gotten all my stuff done. Mm-hmm. But now the video editing that we were talking about earlier, the video I put out yesterday and the one I'm doing today, that's coming into play as part of that routine. I want to edit my content first thing when I'm done doing everything. So like that's done.
Yeah.
And then I can dive into client work, which I only want to do for about like 5-6 hours a day.
True. Yeah, that's what I try to keep it to as well. I don't want to like overthrow, especially now that I want to like put out my own stuff. Like I just want to finish this last project, and like I don't know if I want to take on any other ones.
It's hard because I know what you're talking about. Like right now I have a lot of client projects, and like my current clients were like, it's funny, my current clients literally just like one yesterday, I didn't want to invoice them yet for the new year because I'm like, something's off. I feel like price adjustments are happening. I feel like I want to charge more. We get in a call. He's like, listen, man, you've been doing some really good work for me. I want to start paying you more. And I'm like, good. I'm on the same page. So we just increased. Fewer clients, higher pay. But
yeah,
still, I have like 4 clients. I'm contracted with a company. I make good money. But here's the thing. if I want to make up to, let's say, $100,000 or $120,000 a year, which is very little, and that's not even like considered a business in my mind, it's still like personal income to a degree, you're going to be hustling, and that's 6-figure hamster wheel stuff, and it sucks. That's the term where you're just consistently moving, unless you can delegate and automate, which, you know, we've spoken about before in like the last podcast, but like that's the answer. You have to hire other people, and it's your choice to decide, do I want to hire high quality people or low quality people? You can go with cheap, and you can have more stress, and you can still be freaked out on that hamster wheel because you hired some crappy person who can't do their job, which is true, or you hired the good people. We were talking about this earlier, where my friend can get you an editor for 8 hours a day for $250 American, or he charges that much. I'm like, that's great.
It's amazing.
Send him I could send him those 6 videos and have them done in one day. $500 a month, 12 videos. Post 2 a week or 3 a week, and then that's done. But backing up though, I think we were touching base on
Oh, well, I
had
want
a
to
point
talk,
to make.
like, I want to talk more about the routine, and like, why do you find it so important to do that, and like, how has it helped you in life?
Focuser.
Yeah.
So why I focus on it?
Well, like, how has it helped you? Like, how do you find that that's helped you?
Yeah, because this is like the big thing that I don't think a lot of people understand, or they do, but like we know what we got to do, but we just don't do it. It's kind of like that, you know. It's like that guilty thing, like we like to like make in ourselves. We feel bad and we're not doing it, but like it makes you, like, doing the routine holds you accountable, number one. But number two, you're proving to yourself that you can define the way you operate, because we're all a system. We have our own defined system, but the routine has helped craft my own methodology of living.
Yeah.
And it allows me to test the things I believe in. So, you know, some people freaked out when I went plant-based. They're like, why would you cut out meat? And if that's a shock to you, well, majority of the world's going plant-based. But, you know, when I go down these avenues and these paths and these weird routines, people kind of, you know, start paying attention. They ask questions, and like that turns into sales. But it's not about that. It's the routine where it just makes you feel wholehearted. Like you feel like you're actually getting something done, and like something done for you instead of other people, because external work is not always the solution. It's the internal solution, where you know that what this does for you is it makes you smile, and it makes you feel like you're actually ready to accept and be happy.
Like self-love.
Yeah,
basically.
Self-love. That's a good way to look at it.
Self-care. That's why I do it. It's so important.
Well, yeah, I mean, like if I woke up and I never made my bed, or I didn't make my, like if I don't do any of that, if I miss a couple steps, like I'm known as a perfectionist. I'll be like, no, man, you go do that. Like yesterday, I was trying to do 6 things at once. I had water overflowing on like the tap. I almost ruined the Amazon Echo I bought for my parents for like
wow.
And then I had like this pot I was making golden milk. It was almost overflowing. And I think that was a new thing I'm testing with like turmeric, cinnamon, saffron.
I saw the video.
Pepper, yeah. Coconut milk. It was like overflowing onto the stove, and I'm like, oh my god! And the juicer's on, and I'm like, the music's playing, and I'm like, what do I do? Like, but like that's the fun, because like you're trying to test new things and learn and like go through chaos and just understand how to actually create a routine that makes you spark. Because then when you sit down and start doing whatever you got to do, whether it's going your job, you know, working, and for me, like editing, when I sit down, it's like if you do that right away, you'll be like, this sucks. But you sit down after you've done for you, you're like, cool, I've done for me. I have all this energy. Let's push it out for other people now.
Yeah. Like the basic thing is like your cup runneth over.
That's cool.
Like once your cup runs over, then you have enough to supply other people.
Yeah, like yeah, because it's overflowing. You have to almost give. It's like giving to people. Yeah. Giving's great.
Giving. You know what happened in the last podcast? We came to a determination, or like a realization. Like, what if giving is the currency in the afterlife? Like, what if there's like you die and like you go to a next realm, and all the good deeds you did is your currency.
Pretty cool. But what would that look like as a currency though? Like they would just recognize you for it?
No, like I guess you just go there and all of a sudden you just have stacks, or you'd have no stacks. You just have bags of money, good deed money.
It's like
if you didn't do any good deeds, then you have nothing.
It's like, look, you did a good job. This is what you earned. Now go back down there and do it again.
Yeah, if you have nothing, you have to go back down.
Well, they talk about that in like reincarnation, and like they say people reincarnate because like they haven't learned their lesson, and like in this realm you have to learn a lesson and then move on. But I don't know what that comes from. I'm not sure if that's like Buddhism, or I don't know what that is.
Yeah, I don't know either. I think it is Buddhism.
because they talk about the Tao and all this stuff. And
Yeah.
my friends are all about that. And
Yeah, you have to learn that stuff.
he puts like, yeah.
But I guess to make sure I'm in focus. I'm pretty sure I'm in focus. Here, I'll get over there. Yeah, that's good. What were we talking about? I want to go back to.
There was something we were talking about that
I want to go back to you were gaming. You started making videos, and then what happened from there? Did you get into fitness after?
Well, that was from yeah. Okay, so I was doing the Minecraft videos. I was doing the Minecraft videos on YouTube, and then I kind of realized I was working a grocery store job here. I was making average money. I was making $13,000 a year. I was in poverty basically. Poverty money. And here's the thing: that was the lesson, because you have to learn to admit where you are and not be in denial. Some people are like, "Well, I'm okay," and it's like, "You're not though." Well, yeah, but if I say I'm okay, I'm like, no, you have to admit that you're not okay. And I realize this is not good. I don't know what I want to do. And I mean, this is where I bring in my usual story where I chase women. I use women as my relief source, where I'd be like, okay.
Even back then?
Yeah, I was rescuing women. I was dating these broken women who were they're not bad people. They had their own problems, and they had trauma, and they didn't know how to solve it, and they were complaining about it.
True.
And I felt like I had to be, the stallion, the white knight on the horse coming in. He was like, yo, come with me if you want to lift, and it's like, no, man, I'm enough with that. But I did it for years and years. And then after a relationship, while doing the videos it led to 2013. That all ended. And then I had this 4-month period where I kind of gained enlightenment. And you told me this. You said, because I went through a breakup this year, and you told me, yo, don't date, be single, just don't touch anything. And I was like, cool, I'll do that. 4 days later, I'm like, yo, man, this is girl talking to you. And you're like, dude, you didn't listen at all. And I'm like, huh? Oh, shit.
Yeah.
And, I actually had 4 months of not doing anything. Or it was 3. And then I had a fling, and oh, no, there were 2 fling. Okay, so maybe I didn't listen. But the point was, they weren't attachments to I was so fed up with myself. This was the first time I was fed up. And this is where The Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle really hit me, where I was like, no, I'm not doing this anymore. I'm not settling for anything.
Keep going.
No, that's cool. And I remember I was trying to go to this next step with web and graphics. I was trying to go to this college in Toronto, and they charged about $25,000.
Yeah.
And I said, is this really what I want to do? And as I was reading The Power of Now on my second trip down to discuss it, I was staring at the pole in the subway, and I was reading the part of The Power of Now where it's where he presents being present. And I'm like, holy crap. I'm not thinking about the past. I'm not thinking about my ex. I'm not thinking about the future, because I don't know what that even is.
Mm-hmm.
And I realized I don't want to go to this college. I got this gut feeling. So I didn't do it.
Really?
I didn't do it. I went down there. I said, nah, I don't want to do it. I'm done. My parents were like, what do you want to do? And then that led to me thinking health and fitness. So on my birthday, which is November 19th, 2013, I'm still single, obviously. I bought into the first certification course I did through the ISSA. I think it's the International Sports Science Association. May have changed it now, but I paid for that. It was $400. At the time, I was like, that's a lot of money. Now I'm just like, funny how you shift as you evolve. The more you make, the more you realize it's still a problem. It's just things evolve and what you spend. It's a whole other story. Oh my God, killing my money fear has been a big one. But then I got that certification started, and then that's what led me to I wasn't doing videos or editing. I was done at that point. I was doing Instagram. That's when I started doing Snapchat and Instagram and practicing on camera. That's where I got good at being on camera and being like, yo, let's have personality. Let's think for a minute. Let's pause correctly. Do your thing, knowing how to act, have your personas. Because people always ask me, how do you act so cool on camera or calm? I'm like, you just have to know yourself.
Yeah, you keep doing it, right?
Yeah, that's all it really is. They think there's a magic cookie or something you got to eat. A solution, right? It's no, there's no answer. It's just you focus, you do it.
Not a magic cookie, but maybe
Oh my
magic
God.
something else.
Yeah, we'll talk about that too. Monday is gonna be a big decision. Yeah, I know. But and then that's when 2014 rolled around, I was back in another relationship. And it was actually the best relationship I ever had. To be honest, best partner, best connection, best everything. And she was in fitness. And I ended up getting her to become I didn't get her to this point, but I inspired her to train and she ended up becoming, I think she like actually broke some world records in powerlifting.
No.
Yeah, and she was like squatting almost 400 pounds, deadlifting 400 pounds, and I was pretty proud because like it's like, damn, you did really well. And like we had this relationship, but then during that relationship so 2014 rolled through after this is so November I got the certification course, right? Rolling in 2014, and then by because the reason I'm talking about this is because like the relationships were like, it was like the rescue mentality,
Yeah,
and finding my purpose, and I was so lost at this point. I was like, I don't know what I'm doing. I still have this grocery store job. Then came about April, May. I agreed to do a photo shoot. It was my first ever photo shoot where I looked like an angry mofo. But, you know, we helped this lady win some award and prize. But prior to that, I started YouTube again. I started vlogging, which I never did. I never liked myself on camera. And I also never liked listening to myself.
yeah.
And that's a big one for people.
I still find that when I'm like editing something, I'm like, okay, shut this guy up.
No, I love, I watch my Instagram stories sometime. It entertains me.
I do watch
It's sad.
I watch my Instagram stories and I'll be like, okay, I'm doing it. Like
You have to listen and say, how can I do better? And it's like critiquing.
Yeah.
And it just makes you, I'm proud of it. I love it. I don't know. I used to be like, I used to let people's opinions like, oh, you're so conceited. You're into yourself. I used to be like, no. I'm trying to prove you wrong. But it's like, yeah, I am conceited. I do love myself.
Well, it's not. I mean, loving yourself is not conceited, right? And I think you get that confused so much. But yeah, I still get weird when I watch myself. Like even now, when I have to edit this, I'm gonna
Yeah, that's a bit weird.
I'm gonna gravitate towards like editing your stuff more. I'm gonna be like, okay, let's focus on Jamie, and then like I say something, I'm like, okay, get this guy out of here. Okay, let's
that part where you're like, well, we're doing a vlog right now.
Yeah, I'm gonna. Yeah,
you're gonna watch that and you'll be like, oh,
exactly.
That's the best part. But it's funny, if you ever had an editor, what you would do is, and we'll go back to the story. If we're talking about the photo shoot. When my client, I'm gonna say his name. I'm not gonna talk about names here. One of my clients, I used to edit his vlogs. So whenever he would like film long videos and like long clips.
Yeah.
If he made mistakes, he'd say, all right, Jamie, I messed this part up.
Like he's talking to you?
Yeah, like he would communicate to me there. Like, I want it like this, I want it like that. Like, and I'm like, that's genius, man.
That is smart.
And like, I never told him to do that. I already knew about it. I just never told him to do it. He just started doing it. I messed up, Jamie. Okay, we're going to come in. We're going to do this. Cut it there. And I'm like, that's cool, actually. Because when you have an editor, you can just tell them what to do.
That's actually really smart. I remember there's this YouTube channel called Before They Were Famous. I remember I interviewed for them. I didn't know what I was doing in this interview. I was like doubting myself and like what I should be doing. So I was like taking interviews and like looking for a job as an editor. And I was doing like an actual like edit as an interview. And then all of a sudden he would just mess up and like not say anything. And like just like start at the same point. He wouldn't start again. He just started at the same point, and like it was very weird. I've never seen anybody do it like that. Because I'm on camera like for years, and like if I mess up something, like I'll start again, or I will be like, I'll say like exactly like what your buddy said. I'll be like, okay, again, and like I'll start again. But he wouldn't do that. He'd be like, and I remember watching. I'm like, this is how he does it. I'm like, holy shit! It's a pretty big channel though. They got like a lot of subscribers. But
got to tell me that channel after.
Before They Were Famous. That's what it's called.
Oh, that's actually the name.
Yeah,
I've definitely seen it then. What kind of content is it?
Just like rappers before they were famous. Like,
it's like biographies on stories. That makes sense.
It's like really quick. Yeah, that was I bombed that interview so hard. It was
but you learned so much from that.
Like I remember the first thing they're like you have to do keying, and I'm like, fuck, I don't know how to do keying. And like it literally, like I told you about this. I Googled it and like I learned how to key in like 3 minutes. And I was like, okay, I know how to do it now. But like I remember I was doing it and I'm like, I'm not doing this. I'm like, what am I doing here?
Keyframing's boring, man.
Well, I was just thinking to myself, I'm like, I felt like I was more than an editor. I kind of had that my own shift there. I was like, I'm supposed to be in front of, like exactly what you were saying. Like I'm supposed to be in front of the camera.
Well, like when I do my own like videos, like I do my own captions. That's keyframing in a sense. You're keyframing source text. Like you're just taking the text and you're changing the source every X amount of frames, and it's recording it. And I'm like, man, this video is 4 minutes long. It's like 2 seconds per line. I'm like, I'm gonna be here for like 20 minutes, and it's repetitive tasks. It's the same thing. It's like if you worked in a factory and you're at the end of the line and you have to like twist the top on something. That's what keyframing is like. It's the same thing.
It's
very, maybe not 100%, but it's a little boring. It's boring, but you have to do it if you're editing your own content.
Yeah,
it's part of the process. The process.
See what he did there?
And cue commercial. If you're looking for video content and you want things edited properly,
It's actually a good voice.
I've been told to be an actor. It's my movie voice.
Voiceover actor.
Yeah, I've been told.
Why not?
I'm doing voiceover stuff for the person I'm telling you about. I'm not going to mention her here.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
she wants some stuff done for me. She's like, you got to do the voice acting for our video. I'm like, okay. Like the advertisement for our commercial. And I'm like, all right. Define video.
Wow.
Yeah. To me, I get insecure about that voice still because I can't hear it. I don't know what it sounds like.
It sounds good.
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. It sounds on point. It sounds like it should. If that makes sense. Like when you hear voiceover stuff, it sounds like a voiceover.
I'm thinking now. I'm like contemplating. Maybe I should go into voice acting.
What? It's just like a little side business, easily.
Everything's a side business. Breathing's a side business.
But
yeah. So story.
yeah, you're at the photo shoot. So then what? This is like a fitness photo shoot.
Yeah, because I think the point of telling all this was really just to explain that I was still trying to find my. Because you were talking about. Is this about purpose too, right?
Yeah. Like, how did you like right now? You went through the whole. You got the fitness certification. You're now moving into fitness, basically.
Yeah. I mean, I got the certification in September 2014. And then, like, I got my first glimpse of traveling for long term. I went to Sweden for 5 weeks with that same woman I was with. And then, then I eventually moved out, and that's where I got my first training job. I worked at a commercial gym here in Canada, and basically it was crap because it was all sales. I was like, I wasn't prepped for this.
True.
Great. I thought I was done. And I had this mindset where I'm thinking, once I get there, I'm done. No, you're never done. And I had to learn that the hard way when after 2 months of just I was actually trying, or 3 months of trying at this job, of being a trainer and trying to sell my clients. I had to get my clients, right?
Of course.
I sold one guy, and at that point, the next week, I got told it was like a intervention almost. It was like ultimatum, but it's intervention or ultimatum.
Kind of a little bit of both.
It was like you have two options here. You can keep doing this, and if you don't make sales, you're done. And I understood that because, well, it's a business. It's not about you emotionally. It's just you suck.
Yeah.
I didn't say that, obviously. And then the other side is you just leave. Sorry, I paused. I was trying to think. It was like you either stay there and you suck, or you leave. And I said, you know what? I was stressed out. I was trying my hardest for my heart. I was trying my best. And they're like, no, this wasn't good, that. And I'm like, well, it makes sense. So I ended up leaving. I called my mom. I'm like, Mom, I quit. She's like, I'm worried about you, all this stuff, because typical mom.
Yeah.
That's where I get my rescuing from. She always comes to me, I need to save you. And like, oh my God, caregiver mentality, which is not bad. It's just, it's like, oh, wow. And I'm like, I'm good. I call my dad, and he's like, well, what are you going to do? I'm like, here we go. And, I lost my integrity. I mean, I didn't want to lose my integrity, actually, at that point, because I didn't end up getting a job. That's when I was first introduced to entrepreneurship, which is where I am now.
I want to know, how did you deal with that? How did you deal with somebody being like, you suck?
Well,
how did you deal with like that type of rejection? Because that's like
at the job.
Yeah, because me with working jobs, I've always just left the job. Like I've always been like, Colin's working out great, and then all of a sudden I just don't show it. I just don't go. Like that's how I used to handle 9 to 5.
You're ghosting your job.
It would just like disappear because I hated it so much.
It's pretty funny.
They didn't know like I was like suffering inside and like hating myself.
That's the thing, right? That's why and like Simon Sinek talks about that, about how like companies where you have your CEOs, your managers who are, if you're a manager and you're a CEO, you're a leader. And if you're a leader, you need to take responsibility for actually caring about the employees and showing up and actually understanding why they are the way they are. Because if you don't do that, you don't need to be in a leadership role. You're paid X amount of money to be that leader. So, I say that because of how you're, like, if you're off that, like, man, but again, it's the job, whatever it was at the time. For me, when I was told this, growling a bit here, I'm hungry. I had an apple today and that celery juice. I'm trying to think how I felt. I mean, I kind of felt this relief because I knew it was something I didn't want to do. And I was training people already, like, because at the gym I was at, they had like the trial clients, and I sold my first client. He was so excited. And I'm like, I'm like, this sucks. I don't want to do this. I just wanted to train people the whole time. And it took me this long. And, my best friend now, who I met at the time, he pushed it out for 4 years at that gym. Wow. And we'll get into that in a bit. I actually reversed his life 180, and he moved out west recently, and he's doing high-end sales now. I think this month he's making about 5,000 to 10,000, which is
incredible.
I mean, again, it's sales, so it's a chance, but if he pulls it off, that's good.
I mean, are gonna go off soon. Just keep an eye on it.
What ringtone do you use? Let us know in the comments. If you're on Facebook, the heart means you actually care. The like means you're just scrolling by. That's my new motto.
Just keep an eye on it. But yeah, how did you feel? Like, what? You just felt relief?
I felt relief, but
you didn't feel like
when I left, I felt relief. But in the moment, I was like, "You can't do this to me, man," because I've now learned my personality type through the Myers-Briggs and all that, or like the 16 personality types, and I'm like, now I understand why the way I operate, the way I do, and that's a later conversation if you ever get to it. I don't know if I want to go there yet. It's pretty heavy, it's deep, but some people are like, "What the heck?" But I now understand why at the time it was like thrown at me last minute. I'm like, I don't know what to do. I was like, it was like I was paralyzed. I was like, okay, I'll figure it out. And I go to the back room. I'm like, I'm quitting. I can't do this. And my friend at the time's like, you're not quitting. He's like an A-type, hardcore, like listen to Eric Thompson stuff, like put on motivational music before the sales call or like the sales meeting. And I'm like, all right. And I wasn't like that. I was very calm and zen. Yeah. He's like, you got to change, man. You got to be more hardcore. And I'm like, I just can't do it. He's like, enough is enough. You just got to. I'm like, I'm done. So I gave him my client and I left. And that's when the relief hit. Because I knew I had tried my hardest and I couldn't do it anymore because it just wasn't feeding me the right way. It wasn't. I didn't feel like I was enjoying myself in that job. Yeah. I felt like I was showing up to be yelled at. And when you show up to a job that get yelled at because they were yelled at previously and then the person above them was yelled at, what kind of picture does that give you mentally?
Gives you. I'm actually just gonna do this right away. I'll set this one too. That way I have both. It gives you a picture of you're gonna have to yell at somebody eventually too.
Yeah, so then my relationship went under and I stopped giving a crap about her.
So wait, you just left there.
Yeah.
And like that's pretty cool. Like I love when people leave jobs when they realize like it's not good for them. Like I think that's my girlfriend was talking about that. She's like, you're really good at like knowing when something's not good and like just like getting out of it rather than like just like going through it and like hating it. So yeah, I think there's kudos to you for that. And then you gave your buddy the client and just bounced.
Yeah, and then
from there, what was the next professional step?
Okay, cool. So, yeah, we'll stay away from relationship stuff because I was kind of like, because the relationship stuff kind of taught me how to be more in career. It ties to it, but
we can go into relationship stuff all day with you. It's like
I know
it would be like a whole podcast in and of itself.
I know it's ridiculous. Well, you have to understand that I was addicted to dating women it was my escape from having to deal with responsibility. But then that would end up giving me more responsibility. So I left the job. And then I realized I came across he's known as Jonathan Goodman, and he ran the I think they changed their name now, but he was the first one to certify or he was the first one to create a program to certify you as an online coaching like just an online coach.
Really?
I think he was the first one, and he ran the I forget the name of it. It was like the online personal training. I think it was the Personal Training Development Center. And he had this course. It was called 1K Extra. Make an extra 1K as like a personal trainer with like online clients. So like maintaining in person, but also having online clients. Because most commercial gyms don't let you have an online client base because you're stealing customers. We want committed trainers. Well, I want to make more money and you make more because you're the manager. So you're manipulative and you suck. And I'm sorry, that's the truth. Please reevaluate your thought process. And that's just the truth. And I realized, yeah, most trainers are like slave working. They work like more hours than most trainers make less than 30K. They don't make a lot of money. And if they make more than 50, 60,000, they're working like 60, 70 hour weeks.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, I've heard.
Yeah. And like, I mean, maybe that stat's wrong. There's no stat there. I knew because when I worked full-time hours in the future of this story, I ended up making like 16,000. And I was working a lot. I worked with like 12 clients at a time. I made $16,000. Where my job before at the grocery store was making like 14,000. So, right. You know, that's the thing, right? It's passion versus just like, you know, put cans on the shelf and fake stuff. But, you know, it's the difference. But then what actually happened after this training job, this first training job, because I had two in a commercial setting, is I realized I didn't want to go back to a job. And at the time, that next professional step was becoming an entrepreneur. And the 1K Extra course from Jonathan Goodman, I bought it for the first month for 2 months, and I canceled it because I was having like a money fear panic. My rent at the time was, and guess this, $300 to pay my rent.
There you go.
Not a lot of money.
No, No,
and I didn't have money.
It's all perspective, though, right?
Yeah, of course. And it's funny. I chuckle now because I'm like, wow, it was hard back then, and now I'm looking at where I am now with what I spend. I'm like, that's interesting, And I didn't want to get a job at a grocery store. I thought about it. I can go get a job at this store. I know it really well. No, but the people at the gym are going to see you there. You don't want to feel like a failure. There's all this like self-talk, like shaming.
Oh, buddy, that's something to deal with, bro. I was working at a grocery store just like, I think I was like 29. I remember seeing my buddy with his kids, and I was like, fuck, this is crazy. I'm working produce over here. I was like, fuck.
Because it's true. You feel like a loser. I'm going to say it.
Yeah, man.
And I ended up going back to that old grocery store job later on. Before that, I ended up going back to the same commercial gym. They had another location in the downtown section, and it was 24 hours. I'd go there at 11 p.m., maybe 12 at night. And I knew the girl who worked there overnights because she worked at the previous location. She switched. And God forbid she was there, because I would go in there with my tripod. And I had a DSLR at the time. And I would record videos of me on how to do exercises. I built an online coaching program. I legit built an online coaching program. And I did a launch where I launched this program. I used the software Trainerize.com, which has gotten really popular, where you can get your own app now. I think online health coaches should use that to leverage their own, automated income.
That's amazing.
It's genius, but everyone does it, so you have to know how to stand out and have an audience and have a system, all that stuff. That's what I teach. And then basically I launched and made about $300. And it has nothing to do with the rent, just because it's the same amount of money almost, or basically the same amount of money.
Yeah.
It is the same amount of money. It's just, I made $300 and I was like, cool, it worked. But I don't know what the heck I'm doing. So that failed. I ended up moving out. My best friend, who I was roommates with up until recently, for the last year and a half, he came by the visit and he told me, dude, your relationship's crumbling. You don't know what you're doing for work. And I was already moving home. He's like, I'm glad you're moving home. I'm going to give you a hand when you get back. And then when I moved home with my parents. And that's why when I moved home recently, I felt this similar emotion. And this is the emotion. When I came home, I had I'm not going to say $47 in my bank account. We're not Ty Lopez here, but I had $200 and I think $49 or something. It was something like $250. And I had no money. I paid for a one-way train ticket home. I moved all my stuff back eventually with a van. And then I was like, now what do I do? So I had the professional next step was doing the online coaching, and I was still doing it at the time. I was just a nobody. No one knew me. I didn't know sales, and I was like, I got to learn this sales stuff. So then I got my old job back at the grocery store. I didn't want to go back to a gym. I could have gone back to that same commercial gym. They let you come back, different location. But
For sure.
That experience was haunting me because I didn't want to sell people because their sales methods were just very hard closing, pushy, forcey, scarcity based. I'm like, and plus their models weren't right. And I knew in my gut, I knew a lot more. So that's when I took 4 months off just to focus, or 5 months off to focus on myself. The rest
5 months off?
Like the rest of that year, from July 2015, this is 2015 time, until December.
Just working in the grocery store?
I had the grocery store job until March 2016 when that rolled around. But in November, it's when I applied for another commercial gym that was around the corner of my house. I'm like, okay, I have a car. I eventually got a car so I can drive there. And then, and I was sharing cars with my parents, so I can just drive there. I can walk there. It's like a 20-minute walk. I can start training people again and maintain both jobs. And I did that. But then the training job I got eventually started in January or in February of 2016. And then I ended up quitting that one job because I just couldn't stand working in a grocery store. It was 4.5 years. You have to evolve no matter what. Even if it's going to a different type of part-time job. It's experience. So I got the next step was this training job at this other commercial gym. And that's where I actually was able to sell people.
Why did you feel like you could go back? What made you feel like you could go back to that kind of atmosphere?
Because the company I work with now, funny enough, as a contractor, I ended up finding that company when it was barely even a company. It was just someone doing their own thing. And I started to learn the truth about health and fitness in the holistic side and what actually the science is saying. And I felt like I had so much knowledge that I can actually sell people now on that because I knew what people wanted.
Okay.
And that's why I became technical. I studied. I remember the website now, I think it's called Healthline. There used to be a site called Authority Nutrition, which I think they partnered with them or they became them. And I used to binge read their emails, all their content. I made spreadsheets and documents in Word. about the benefits of every vegetable, every fruit, every supplement, everything, and I studied it.
So you started mastering the craft.
Yeah, and funny enough, I read in the summer of 2015 when I came back in July. I went camping. I was reading books. I went back to vlogging. I was doing videos at this time too. Still, I was still vlogging.
Mm-hmm.
That was the one thing that kept me alive when I was trying to get through all this. I read the book Mastery by Robert Greene, and that book sparked a lot. That was the first book I read, because following Mastery, I read about 30 books in the next year.
Wow. So like I like that like evolution timeline. So like you got the certification, thought that you were just going to train people. Like you thought that's all it is. Like, oh, I just get to train people.
Yeah.
Then you realize it's not. You got the hard hit that you're not good at sales. Then you started learning about like not just training people, but like the other side of things, which is like actual nutrition and like what people need in their body. And then from there, you like really started pushing knowledge. You really started gaining knowledge. And then from there, what happened? Like as soon as you gained all that knowledge, and then what started happening? Did your sales go up? Did you like get better at this whole thing?
I learned how to sell. Like I learned how to understand people. I started understanding people's psychology more. I guess I was becoming more awakened, as they would say, more awoke.
Yeah.
And I know it's a funny term, but when I had this new training job, it's the same concept. You got to sell.
Yeah, of course.
Sell, get commission. But the people I sold understood me, and I understood them. And it's probably because our personalities were on a similar frequency, but some people wanted it, some didn't. And those that paid for it, those were the people that were like, this guy understands, meaning me. I get it. Jamie makes a great difference. He understands health in comparison to the traditional model. And it's because I was more holistic. And I think back to it now, and like to where I am now, and I'm like, I knew nothing back then, but like it's crazy, right? At that time, I was confident that I knew a lot. I knew a ton about training. I knew a ton about working out. I knew how to build muscle fast. I knew how to go against the normal grain of just like, because most gyms I do like get used to the gym for 2 weeks, foundational period, then build muscle. No, how about start with all compound movements and start at a foundational level? Everything should be compound bar based with a little bit of, dumbbell based work. And then from there, you also, you keep it within like 15, 20 reps. Get used to the feeling, motor mechanics, hinge, pressing, pulling. Like you still follow those principles, right? That, twisting, turning, the core. Like you still do these things that everyone talks about, but you're not just using dumbbells or like a machine. You're using your entire body with a barbell, and you're doing movements that actually give you motor performance. So like I was teaching people all this stuff, and they're like, whoa, this guy knows his stuff.
You developed your own philosophy, basically.
And that's it. And I had a belief system that was in similar tied to the company I'm with now, because they have workout programs that are very similar. And that's what eventually led to me leaving fitness and more diving into the back end, because I liked them. That was my own specific, I'll call it superpower, with all this stuff coming together with timing, technicalities, strategy, systems. But in a way, I kind of let this company stop me from developing my own healthy perspective. But I believe, like, I looked at the science. I was like, this guy speaks it for what it is. If I do anything, it's copying. I don't want to copy. I want to come up with my own formula. I used to test workout programs, test powerlifting routines, bodybuilding, strength training, the whole 9 yards, except for Olympic lifting. But nothing really worked. And then I started using this method, and I could train less. And by that, I mean train 3 days a week, 4 days a week, and not train as long, have more free time or more personal time to do things and time to work. And I'm like, what other method is there out there that offers this? Like, just if you can't beat them, join them. But what ended up actually happening, though, because like I make it sound like the story just died, but it didn't. Sense. 2016 was the year where I did 11 months of personal training, maintaining about 10 to 13 clients, teaching nutrition, doing a couple seminars, networking, meeting people. There's a gentleman I introduced to you. His name is Gord. I actually met him by working at that gym.
Wow.
And we connected, and like I met people that were brilliant minded and intelligent in the holistic health space, and that kind of led me down this other path of where I am now, where it's all about natural living. Yeah. Which just led us together. But in 2016 is when I first met I met an actual entrepreneur who was earning about 7 figures, and I had a choice to make where he was wanting a trainer and to come to him in Toronto. And at the point, my parents were like, this is why my next video on Instagram is talking about, like, sure, your parents are stressing you out, or, you move back home, or you're in the situation. It's something that I'm in. you can be frustrated with your family or trying to match and weld both lifestyles together and to be a bit more understanding, but show them gratitude because they'll support you no matter what. My parents helped pay for my college. They bought out a car for me, which is the next step. They bought out this car I have, and I'm so grateful because if they didn't buy that car out, I don't think I'd be where I am today, because I didn't have the money mindset to just finance a car. I would be like, I gotta ask my dad for permission because that's what my entire life has been. Side effect of not telling the story on that part, but I've always had to get approval and acceptance and feel like I have permission to do something through my parents. Now it's the opposite. I'm like, stop. It's like I'm an adult. And it took a long time to get there, actually. So if you're like that and you're watching this and listening to this, like, you have to develop your own philosophy and believe that you can do it.
You can look at the camera. You can look at them. Go ahead. It's
fine. Listen. You listen, boy or girl. I don't know.
So at that point,
yes,
because now this is almost like the time, not around the time we met, but like
way before.
Well, like you're saying 2016, right? So like, so you did all that in terms of like the health, like you were maintaining clients, doing seminars, all that stuff. Because I'm getting really interested because I'm getting to the point where I know.
Oh, like where we come along.
Yeah,
we're not even there yet, man. Like, should I continue?
Yeah, definitely. So like, what happened next at that point?
So August 2016 is when I met. His name is Scott Olford. He's like, he's just like he's good at sales funnels and marketing and internet marketing, all that stuff. And he's recently blown up his business. I mean, I don't know like what we're not in contact anymore, but at the time he was looking for a trainer, and there were about 13 of us who wanted to like post it on his status, like a Facebook thing. Everyone was doing Facebook groups and communities, and I'd been in his for a while, and I've been following and seeing his posts. I'm like, who is this guy? Yeah, who's this bald guy in Toronto? And I say it because like it's just funny how it is. And so he did this challenge where like he shaved his head, and he's like, okay, if I get enough likes, I'm gonna shave my head. And he shaved his head. I'm like, oh my god, this guy's hilarious.
Wow.
So then I ended up poking him because I'm all about persistence. If someone wants something and like I know like they're busy, like keep bugging them. It's like that whole testing thing, right? Because if someone says I want a trainer and then you poke them and they're like cool and they don't get back to you, they want it, but they're just too busy or they're in their head.
Yes.
Or they're having a money fear. Like it's the more you get to know people in psychology and break it down, the simple triggers of what's going on. So I ended up contacting him privately, bugging him, and bugging him. And then I eventually met up with him in Toronto, went to his condo. He was down by like the Rogers Center, if you know where that is, the CN Tower.
Yeah.
And long drive for me. That's from like where I was living. It's like an hour drive both ways, plus traffic, like 2 hours going back. It's a big commitment. And then he signed. Well, we didn't really sign. He told me he was going to help me build build a fitness business for entrepreneurs to train them and do it the right way, which kind of worked out in a sense, but it didn't. He traded, like we basically bartered. He gave me his course, which was like $2,000 in exchange for 3 sessions a week for like 3 months. And that was the change in what got me into digital marketing. Although that was already happening prior. I mean, I didn't even mention that part either, where I was doing websites and video stuff too.
Yeah.
While I was back doing the training, I was still doing videos even into 2016. I was still doing YouTube. I had a health channel, but it wasn't like thousands of people. It was like 100 people following me.
Yeah.
I didn't care. I just wanted to create content. I love creating.
Yeah, it never matters how many people are following you.
Yeah, and at the time
it never matters. It doesn't matter.
Oh yeah. And at the time I was still worried about that. I'm like, I need to get followers. I'm like, well, just create because you want it. That's it. That's why I'm doing that now. And so I ended up training this guy while maintaining my job at the gym, and then the owner was like kind of catching on, and like he knew what was going on. He's like the same thing happened. You gotta make a choice. And I'm like, well, all right, well, we'll figure it out. And then at the same week, at the same time, the entrepreneur was training said, look, 2017, I want to bring you on full time. So he brought me on full time, and like it was underpaid, but at the time I didn't know what it was worth. So we price pointed at $2,500 a month, and I go there like 5 days a week and train him. But that's all I did. I train him. So it was pretty good. And from time to time, I do a bit of cooking for him. So that's where it was too cheap. It should have been like $50,000, $60,000. But I was training him. And originally the plan was he was going to travel nomadically, which is what I'm actually doing coming next Tuesday. I'm traveling for the next 6 months.
Yeah, I was going to say, so like because you're at this point, where you're saying you're training this guy and everything. But what happened that made you move away from training? Because that's where we knew each other.
Okay,
the first
we'll go
point.
there. So I trained this guy. his neighbor then, who was a big entrepreneur, he founded ifitfitsyourmacros.com. Or no, he didn't found it. He helped blow it up into a big bit, like into a 7-figure business. I coached and trained him. I worked with some other people online through the network. I mean, I met over like 800 entrepreneurs through this one guy, these people. So I'm grateful. I met a lot of people. And then it came when I moved out in September 2017. This is where this is where getting close to us. It's like 5 months before we met. I got to a point where I was just done with training. Plus, the same person I was training for the last year, he decided to get up and leave and go nomadic, and now lives in like California. And it was so last minute that I just lost like $2,500 a month. And then another client I had online left, and I lost another $1,000. So I lost $3,500 in like a week's time. And I'm like, what do I do?
Yeah.
I just moved out. I thought I was fine. You know, I had like 6-7K in the bank. I just bought a nice bed for $1,000. I'm like spending money here and there. I just bought a new table. And it was to the point where by that point, it was the second month of rent. I had to get a job, but I didn't. I luckily found the position that I have now as a contractor with this company where I do video editing and other type of social media work with them. And I got in with them. It was like the universe aligned me with something. And then at that point, the training died off though by about I'd say November 2017, because my current client I still had at the time in Toronto, he just didn't want to continue because it just wasn't working. And I'm like, you know what? You're right. It's not.
Because then I remember you're training Johnson, and then you guys,
friend, because he reached out, and I'm like, okay, fine, I'll give this another shot. Maybe this. Because I knew he was in like the Bitcoin world, and like I knew he had like.
And the thing that I notice the most is that this whole journey, you're like fighting to train. Like you're like, it's like a hard wrestle for you to like train and like get that done. But like what you were doing fluidly the whole time was videos and the web stuff. And all that stuff.
I was always on the back end. Like when I did that first like online coaching launch where I got like $300 in like 2015, I loved making everything. And then when I started coaching people, I'm like, this sucks. I don't want to hear about your problems. Although, I mean, I do like helping people.
Yeah.
Like I mean, like if you have issues, I'd love to hear it because I like talking about it. And I'm a really good coach. I'm really good at coaching people because I coach my clients. You know, you have to be a good coach if you're in this space. But
like it just
didn't work.
It's funny how like what you're going to be doing now and like what you've been concentrating on is the thing that was the easiest. Because like a lot of people say you should do the thing that like comes easy. Like you shouldn't like fight. You know, what I was doing when I was trying to do like the ad agency thing. It's like I was fighting to try and make this thing happen, and like this whole time you're fighting. But like the video, like as soon as you stopped fighting, somebody's like, hey, you want to do video? And all of a sudden like now you're contracted with that, and that's like turned into something amazing for you.
Yeah, because like I had the contract happen, and at the time I was only getting paid like $1,000 a month, but that helped me get through, and I picked up some other clients, and then because it's true though, because I was fighting that, and then I started going into this world. I was in denial though. I had like a 6 or 7 month denial period.
It seems like it because like all of a sudden you got the same ultimatum, like you were in the same place you were before, where they're like, okay, you got to make a decision again.
Well, I gave myself the decision because I tried to make a fitness program again in 2018. This in the last year just passed, and in April when I was about to do it, I had affiliates and stuff. My one friend who is a digital marketer, and he always like reminded me of my dad the way he talks to me. He's the one who made me feel good about lead generation, like doing that for people. I didn't feel like I was good enough, you know. He gave me like a real world view, like, dude, you can't just, because I was gonna have him like do something for me, so I wrote him like a mock template, and he's like, dude, you can't do it this way. Like the real world works like this in the marketing world. And I'm like, oh my god, this is so much work. The stress was getting to me. I was like, I'm done. I can't do this. I'm not gonna get sales. I'm all over my head. I'm playing the calculator game here.
Never worry about what other people have to say about what you're doing.
And it hit me.
Never worry about what other people.
And I collapsed. I cut him out of my life for 3 weeks, and it basically ruptured that entire friendship. Like to this date, it's still like not the same. And we've obviously mended that, but there's still this feeling. Maybe it's just me, but there's this feeling that's just like I learned that he's more narcissistic, and judgmental, and I'm like, you're never going to change, because most people don't change unless they can become aware of their own actions and slowly peel it back, which I mean you can.
Yeah.
But that's when I fell and collapsed. And then weeks later, I went to this online coaching fitness event in New York. It's like a seminar. to learn how to build your coaching business, which it's the second time I'm going, because the first time I went, I was barely there. And I had changed my industry. I'm like, I'm going to this health and fitness event knowing that I actually work with people to build their content now. And, you know, there came a point where they're like, it's like 60 people here. They're like, is anyone here working from home and able to have recurring income and has that freedom? If you do, come to the front. And like 10 of us went up there to talk about our business. And I went up there and they're like, I was looking down the whole time too. It was funny because I'm like, I don't know what I'm talking about. I had to think of something, right? I just came up with my motto and what I do. And it was really piss poor. It was like, it wasn't niche based yet. It was like, and he's like, Jamie, glad you made it. Like, what are you doing? And I'm like, well, name's Jamie, formal trainer. I was an online health coach, but now I've actually shifted. I'm actually doing more social media management and content and YouTube for coaches and small business owners, something like that.
Yeah.
And at the time I had my ex-girlfriend record it for me, and I didn't know she recorded it, and I was just like watching, and then I looked at back and I'm like, well, I definitely have some confidence issues here, but you know, I need to, like, that was the pivot though, where I finally accepted that that's what I do. And then I felt this again, relief, where I'm like, I like what I'm doing. It's fun. I like editing. But then that in that time though, that's where we met and connected.
Yeah.
Because you mentioned Johnson though. In that year we connected.
Yeah, because that was the first time I met you, and you guys were like in the midst of that stuff, and then
I met you briefly when I was training him, and then like,
you decided that you didn't want to do it anymore, and I was like, oh, that's pretty cool.
Yeah,
like I always like when people can like make that decision.
Oh, I imploded, man. I was done. I didn't, because I was driving down to pick him up too, and driving to the gym, and I'm like, this is not worth my time. I mean, like, it's a good gig. It's just I was tired of driving places. Because I started realizing my time was valuable, and I was trying to edit videos for the company on due dates and train him midday. It's too much.
You kept fighting for the thing that you weren't supposed to do for some reason. But why do you think that you were fighting and like trying to do something like that the whole time? Like, why do you think you kept fighting to like train people, even though there was so much friction?
Because I thought it was the only thing I was good at, and I didn't think I could make money being a video editor and someone who does graphics and website work. Because I haven't done it before. Because the previous time in 2012, it failed.
Yeah.
And I let the failure take over me.
So you thought that like that was your only saving grace kind of thing.
That's exactly it. Because I knew I was so good at it.
Wow.
But perhaps it was originally a passion like it was when I first went into it.
Yeah.
Because it was the last thing I thought. Saving grace, 2013. I thought it was the only thing I can do.
Yeah.
I'm like, well, it's a passion. Let's turn it into a business. You know, it kind of worked. I mean, I still talk about health to people.
Yeah, I mean, like, it's good to know all that stuff, like, but
I am building a health course actually next week.
But like, what you're best at is like creating the content, and like you're like, I don't know, like you're really good with website stuff. Like,
and that's true.
When I say website stuff, I mean like not just the building of it, but like knowing how it should look and knowing like where you should go with a business. Like, oh, you're gonna bring your business to web. You're going to start a launch, like, you know exactly how that should work and how that should look.
Yeah, I know exactly like how it should be set up. And it's neat because the industry is always changing, but just when you're, because I'm very creative and I know what looks nice and what looks bad. Like I see some web designers and they're friends of mine. I don't tell them this. We don't talk as much, but,
I don't tell them this.
Well, no, but like,
tell me.
No, like I see their websites and they use like Wix and Weebly, and I'm like, and that's fine. And those are just page builder sites. And I mean, I use page builders too. Like, you have to. But there comes a time when it's no longer the site layout and it's just you don't have a creative flair. And I know you're learning. It just flat out looks like crap. And I would never click on a button.
That's how it is with video editing too, right?
Yeah.
Like sometimes it's like people can like know how to do a jump cut, but like they don't know how to like really make it look good when they're editing something.
Well, that's the thing with like what I'm doing. I mean, like you might roll that if you want when you're editing this, roll that video over. Like Instagram content, you want it to look good. Go look at Gary Vee's page. Go look at go look at infograph pages like Jordan Syat in the health industry who trains Gary Vee. I don't know if he still does actually.
I think he stopped.
Yeah, he must have.
I think so.
He makes enough money without him anyways. It's not worth the time. It's a good experience though for network. But like you need to be creative and you have to make it look good. It has to stand out. And that's what I do for my clients. Like they send me stuff and I make it pop. But then I tell them, I'm going to charge you more if you want this higher end quality. And if, and I tell them, because I'm a very caring, because I understand health coaches. I say, look, do an audit of how much money you're making. confirm your clients are paying you. Because if you end up paying me $1,000, $1,500, $2,000, or let's say 5 to 10K per quarter, which is what I now charge, if it's like bulk packages, like if you pay that and you're in debt after and you're screwed and you're not getting clients, don't do it. Like leave, because I will replace you with someone who can actually afford it. Not because I don't care, but when you want high quality, you pay for it.
Yeah.
And you want it done right. So when it comes to websites, you know, I closed a client, and I'm proud of this because I closed him on a package for $3,250. He wants 3 sites reskinned. It's an American. We're in Canada. It's like 4.2 thousand.
It's like $5 million when you convert it to Canadian.
Yeah, really. It's got like dollars messed up right now too. You get more, and that's not even a lot for a website. Like websites should be like, websites can go for 5 to 10 to 20,000 when you're working with the bigger businesses. But I'm starting to get into the realm of the 6-figure earners in like I'd say like 120 to 250K range. So they can afford it. But the people I need to be working with for video editing, if I want to sell like a $5,000 to $10,000 package, per quarter, let's say, and they're getting X amount, like obviously all the details. Those are the people who have like a health and fitness business and they're earning 200,000 and they're on that 6-figure hamster wheel. What we're talking about, they're overwhelmed and they're like, Jamie, can you help me systematize? And systematizing is cool because you can literally know you can have your own team of people where like you know VAs you can tell them about and they can hire the VA, or you know like a project manager, you know, and they can bring on that person, or you can bring on an assistant, bring them on, or you know like an editor or a graphic designer and they help them out, you know, or like a copywriter. And like it's not just your team, it's just people you know, so you build the system for them and then they pay you X amount and it's done for them.
True.
And then they can wake up and have their coffee and look outside.
So it seems like, yeah, right.
Woo.
It seems like you know so much and everything like that, and you're really good at this. When it came to health, you took a very informational approach. You gained as much knowledge as you could. Did you have to do that same thing when it came to? Oh, it's gonna turn off. Oh, it did. Sick timer.
Did both turn off?
Yeah, I set them both at the same time.
So we can go back a little bit.
Yeah. Well, basically, I'm not gonna have to go back too far. I want to know did you have to take that same informational approach when it came to video editing? Like, did you hammer knowledge? Like, did you like go out and like find out as much as you could the same way you did about health? Like, is that the way that you do things when you want to master something?
It's like, I'd say it's the same, but it's different because with health, like you do have to experience it and play like you have to actually do it. Like if you want to lose weight, you have to actually go to the gym. You want to get better at your running, gotta do your running.
Of course.
Want to eat better? Well, eat better. Learn how to eat better. Research food. So yeah, I'd say you have to research things. You don't have to know exactly why you're like eating an apple, let's say, you know, or like why you're juicing celery. You don't have to know, but like if you have a health problem, I mean, there's 2 answers. You go to the doctor and you trust them, or in my opinion, you do your own research because you have your own free will until whenever that gets taken away from us somehow. Hopefully not. And then you learn, because if you can self-teach, like never rely on anyone else, rely on yourself. But in the video space, in the web space, I find it's almost by doing as well. Like you have to play around with things. I already know so much though. That's the thing that I kind of learned by doing.
Yeah.
With health, like if I just eat apples and peanuts, I might not know if like my liver's bleeding or something, or like you might have to actually like research medical science and stuff.
Yeah.
And go more in depth. With like technical stuff, it's different. You kind of have to just show up and perform.
True.
You know?
True. Yeah, that's what I found too. Because like every time I try to watch like tutorials on this or that or editing styles, I'm like, ugh.
Well, I mean, I watch those too. I mean, like
I watch them, but I can't follow them.
Like one of the websites I'm doing now, there's a lot of things that I go to like their like support like thread for, and they're all their information on it, because the theme's different. I've never worked with it, and I challenge myself to use a theme I've never used, where I might have to do more coding and hire a developer. So it's at the point where I'll just skim. I'll find like one sentence that defines what I need to do, and I'm done. And it's like an extra like 20,000 words of stuff that I don't have to read. So like it's like that. You just look for a little bit, and that's it.
Yeah.
It's like following and reading all that, unless it's specific. If it's like a scripting error, and like you have to find the exact period or something, and know how to revert that to a different letter, or like something that makes the code work, and you don't know why though, and you have to know why. Yeah, you're gonna have to read it all and do the actual tutorial.
True. So now you're like a full-fledged entrepreneur, I would say. You need no imposter syndrome whatsoever.
Oh my God, imposter syndrome.
You got it completely underhand. But what's next? Because I know you're gonna travel, right? And then what's gonna go on from there? So like basically you're not out of the health, but you're like more. It seems like you're recognizing yourself as an authority more so now.
Yeah, like I'm more authority for health, and I can talk about it now publicly the way I do with my video content, which I am doing too. Like a mix of it's health based, and I'll get views, and people will listen and ask questions, and that's good. In terms of health, just to answer that, I'm doing a course next week in collaboration, but I'm not doing it to like coach people. Coach people. I'm doing it to create the content, help with the back end. That's it. And it's just an automated course. My friend's gonna do the accountability stuff. He trains entrepreneurs with his health, like I used to do, but I don't do that.
Yeah.
But I'm going with there because I'm meeting him, and that's fine. But like the next step now, it's I'm traveling. I'm on the go. Like on Tuesday next week, on the 8th, I leave.
What made you want to take that trip?
Well, to fill people in, I'm leaving Canada. I'm going to the United Kingdom. I'm going to London for 2 weeks, see family, a lot of family there. I'm half British. And seeing some old friends and all this stuff. And then I'm going to Australia for a week. It's on the way to Bali. I'm going to Bali for 3 months. My friend Corey wanted to he's been in Bali for the last year. He comes back here now to maintain his citizenship, all that stuff, obviously. But
true.
I think you need to get a visa and all that stuff there. Actually, Bali's different with visas. You just kind of go there and get one, and you just renew it, and then leave and come back. Technical, right? Here we go again. I have like little talks in my head out loud. It's weird. I love it. People think I'm crazy, but it's the truth. I am, so I own it. But like that's the trip plan. And you asked me why?
Yeah, why?
I'm leaving because I feel too secure. Now understand this. I lived in a condo before I moved home with my parents. So I moved out to a condo, and I just left that condo, and it was like very confined space, 2-bedroom, had a roommate, and I found that because I work digitally remotely, well, you can work anywhere, and I found comfort in just staying inside a condo all day, and it sucked. My last client I worked with, like the first entrepreneur client I had, who I trained and helped cook for when I was talking about that earlier, he did the same thing. He worked from home. He never left, went on walks here and there, but he never did anything. He just sat at home all day because his business was there and he could just game. And I did the same thing. And I got to this point, like I'm following in the same footsteps. And funny enough, him and I have the same personality type, so it makes sense. But obviously different people and lifestyle, just the similar traits and like habits, which is pretty cool. But, tying this back to me, I'm leaving because I want to shake it up. I've always felt safe here. I kind of want to go somewhere and know there's a bit of uncertainty. Like, this is not my home for like a year. It's like I might have to go elsewhere and play it around. But the original idea is I'm going to Bali for 3 months. London and Australia, that's just like cool family, friends, people, networking. Bali is about, I'd say, ascending.
Okay.
So I'm writing this book, and you've been helping me with that. So writing everything on the top of my mind about certain topics, what I've been through in the moment. And I come back to that weekly and just fill it in when I can. And I'm going to Bali to almost implode because I've been going through this, like, I was having these meltdowns, and you were experiencing it, where like I just don't like who I am. I broke out of this relationship back in September 2018, and I had enough. And it was like 2015, a repeat. And instead of staying here and just trying to get by and cope, which many can, I mean, I can find the answers here. I want to travel, and I want to leave, and I want to almost change the clock, which Bali's 13 hours ahead, where the people here are going to have more trouble contacting me, and I have a choice to separate, isolate, and meet new people, especially a different culture, because the culture shock there is different.
Yeah, definitely.
Western culture is completely numb.
Yep.
You go to Asia, different world.
Like when you get to Bali, I think the one thing that you're gonna have like trouble with is like they don't do technical. It's gonna be like, here's the food. You're gonna be like, wait, but what kind of? They're gonna be like, yeah, this is it. Bye, I gotta go.
Yeah, because like, that's the thing. Because like I don't know what's in it. Like I have to like know based on. That's why street food's risky. I don't, because like obviously when you go to a third world country like Bali, or you know what I mean, you gotta be careful with food because you don't want to get E. coli and get sick, and that's why it's very that's the big scare for me, and that's actually the one thing holding me back is getting sick.
You're not gonna get sick.
I know I'm not. Like I had the whole like thing we talked about earlier. It's like everything's fine. You know?
Yeah, you're gonna be completely fine.
Yeah, I had like a flare up in like the lymphatic system, and I'm like, oh, I'm gonna die of cancer, and you're like, dude, it's nothing. I'm like, okay, cool. And then it was nothing.
You're gonna come back better. That's how it's.
Yeah,
be.
and
if you come back, I don't know that you are.
Well, that's the thing now, because again, like women come back into your life to haunt you and make your life complicated.
Jeez.
And like she's gonna hear this if I'm actually with her, and she's gonna be like, "Are you crazy?" I'll be like, "No." But the point is, when you work on yourself for so long, you get used to working around your own parameters. And when you include someone in a relationship, or you get into a relationship, you bring in their life, and it's almost like you're going from a circle to a finger eight, like a loop. You have to balance both sides, and they both connect. That's actually pretty good. I actually made that up. So there's nothing wrong with it. It's just I'm leaving to visit family, to visit friends. I'm meeting a woman on the way, which is really exciting because for the first time in my life, it's someone I don't have to rescue, which I've always been doing. And I don't feel like I have to resort to having a relationship.
That's cool.
I used to always want to do it for intimacy, but I'm not doing it for intimacy. I'm doing it for the fact that we're in the same industry. We almost do the same thing, but we're both very much a good personality fit. Something is clicking, and it doesn't happen often. I'm not going to say like twin flame and soulmate stuff, because that could be a bit too much, but
no, you can't say that. You haven't met her.
No, exactly. So like the point is, something feels good here, and I just want to experience it and see what it actually is, and then make an actual choice. But you know, the Bali thing is really just to get away and be nomadic.
True.
So like she's like just a part of that puzzle along the way. I mean, like it's just another side of it. But my main focus is going to Bali. I want to be there for at least 3 months and just live that.
Yeah.
I might have to come back though in February because some family stuff's going on. But once that's done, I'm gonna head back out. Yeah. It's a long story. But you know, it's funny in the interim of that. I was talking about Ryan earlier. Yeah. And the whole ayahuasca retreat. Like that's another option too. But you know, man, it's in Peru. But like, I'm like, is this all time so I can come back and go to Peru instead, like then go to Bali? Like, fuck about that.
I don't know.
The point of the trip is to really just change my lifestyle, to see a different side of the world, because I have this belief system that what we see around us now will not be here in 50 years. And that, as we've seen now, world catastrophe is coming more and more frequently. Yeah. Like Indonesia, where Bali is, just got an earthquake, 7.5. Really? Yeah. Where Jakarta is. So you'll have, I'm trying to look at the picture of the camera. Like you have, for you, there's Bali, and then, man, this camera thing's pissed me off. So yeah,
don't worry about it.
Yeah, Bali, then you have Jakarta, which the other island, because it's like a loop, right? Or from their side, it's like a loop down, and it's not too far off from where Bali is. And my friend Corey there has said, like, I've experienced earthquakes there, and I'm like, what the hell's happening? And I'm like,
you just said you wanted to shake it up, right? So.
Yeah, and like that's the thing, right? You know, I mean, like, if the volcano erupts on Bali, then like, well,
the volcano's not gonna erupt.
No, but I'm an overthinker. Crazy. So like the thing is, I'm going away and I'm stepping into a big zone of uncertainty. And
why do you think you're an overthinker?
I've always wondered that. I get it from my mom.
Think so?
Yeah, but that's not a good answer. I want to actually find a real answer. Like that's the typical answer, right? Like everyone always says, "Oh, I get it from my parents." No, and they say, "Oh, it's a gene thing." Yeah, but
you can shift those things, right? Like there's certain things that my dad would do that like I'll never do. Like
I'm like my dad though. It's funny. I could be like him, so I understand him. So whenever I hear him talk about things, I'm like, "You're full of shit." He's like, "No, I'm not." I'm like, "Mm-hmm." And then like, and a couple of days later, I'm like, "Exactly." You know, like I could see it, right? It's interesting how you can read people. I'm just being completely honest in this podcast, by the way.
Yeah. Why overthink? Like,
overthinking comes because it probably stems from the money fear I used to have. I used to overthink everything because maybe it's because I was bullied.
Well, I mean,
think that would do anything to be? I think that might have
bullied or teased. Because teasing might make you overthink. Because then you're kind of like self-conscious all the time.
I was very self-conscious when I was younger.
Because like if somebody's like making fun of something of you, you'll be like self-conscious about that.
Well, I was bullied a lot, and that was from like 11 to even like 10, 9, all the way up until heck, even like the end of high school days. I used to get always like bugged and annoyed. Even like the grade 12 days was okay, but
really,
yeah, I was like always bullied.
That's so funny.
And poked at, so maybe that's what made the overthinking.
I couldn't see that.
I also was very sheltered too. True. You know, like it was tough. I had a friend of mine take me out of that. He used to bring me out to bars and clubs every weekend. We just drink alcohol, and I'd be like at a club, like binge drinking alcohol, because I knew if I drank enough alcohol, I would stop giving a fuck and start dancing. But I don't dance naturally. I don't know how to. insecurity. Get me on a dance floor. Like those events Darren Austin Hall hosts and stuff. Like I don't go to them because I know they're gonna want me to dance, and I'll be like, I'm paralyzed.
You don't have to. I went to like what you're thinking like the Big Love.
There's
or
one
whatever?
tomorrow, isn't there?
Is there? Probably.
It's at the cathedral, I think.
Oh, battery died. That means we're fucking getting into it.
What time is it? 8 2.
Almost 4.
Are you kidding me? I have a call at 4.
Almost 4.
Oh man, Steven. I didn't get back to me actually with the time, so it's good. Actually, his name's not Steven. It's Dave. Did both batteries die?
No, but that one's going to.
I gotta take a piss. Hold on. You go do your thing.
So do I.
Oh crap. Should I go? You
Go. Go.
Yeah, I shouldn't have brought the girl. It's too much.
The girl? Why not?
She'll watch it. Like, you're fucking crazy. Okay, bye.
She might watch it. Jamie is a podcast lightweight, so he's taking a piss right now. Yeah, Jamie's very informational. Every time, I'm gonna like try and get things to get really emotional right now. He doesn't know that because he's not here, but he's always very informational and he ducks like emotional questions. So I'm gonna start testing the same way he says testing. I'm gonna start doing that to him. See what I can get out of him. He's coming right now. Sorry? Get over here. Yeah, of course it's going. You gotta keep up for the dead air. Why? No dead air. Sit down. Talk.
Why? What happens if the dead air doesn't work?
Don't do it.
Why? What happens?
Sit down and talk.
About what?
Anything. Look at the camera and talk.
Cool. I'll do something cool. So, while Colin's releasing his bladder, I'm going to tell you a quick story about how to sit comfortably in this chair. No. I mean, I'm still having thoughts about why I'm going on this trip. I know the insecurity thing was a big thing, but I think the trip has to do with, it's kind of like running away. I think part of the trip is running away.
Yeah?
Yeah. I think I've just had enough of North America.
I understand that completely. I want to move to California one day.
Oh, we talked about this. I might be going to San Diego.
Really?
Yeah. Come down.
Yeah, I'm gonna do that one day. My girlfriend says she's up for it.
Do it.
She's like, I'll leave with you. So I'm like,
Cha-ching. There's so many entrepreneurs there, man, too. You'll find so many things there.
I'm there for the weather, man.
I know.
I get depressed in the winter.
Yo, man, I was at a hotel.
I get very sad.
I know what you mean. I had that. The sad effect. I was in Huntsville, which is like 2.5 hours north of here, for New Year's. So right now it's like 3 degrees out, like 5 degrees out.
If that, yeah.
I mean, the days, the comparison's different. Like back, so it was probably -2 here while you were here and I was up there. Up there, it was like -25.
Really?
Yeah, it was cold. With the wind, I guess it was just cold as heck. And I had layers on, but I was up there and I had a point of telling the story too. I don't remember. But tell me the last comment. I totally forgot.
You know what? Gonna jump into something else.
Switch it up.
They know what I'm talking about, but you don't know because you weren't here when I said it.
Oh shit!
But you'll see it in the final edit, sir. I was asked a question that really made me think yesterday, and it was: is there anybody that you are right now holding a grudge against that you can't let go of?
That's a good question. Oh my god. I mean, I hold multiple grudges.
Really?
Yep.
Wow.
But not they're very subconscious. So the obvious first one is my ex, because of the way it ended, and I like peace, calm, and happiness when it comes to ending something.
True.
Neutrality. But you have to accept people for where they are. So there's like not a. I guess it's a grudge. It's kind of like grudge could be in like anger, like hate in a sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's still something there brewing in me, which is kind of why I always like. We didn't even talk about this stuff yet, but it's why I like to, like why I've gotten inspired and through you and others to do higher doses of psychedelics.
Yeah.
To really just let shit out. Like my meditations, I'm like, today I was doing Wim Hof, and then I started doing like all this bioenergy, like or whatever it's called, pounding at the muscles. And then my mom was in the laundry room, and I had a blindfold on, headphones on. She can see me through the living room window. And at the end, I was doing the breathing. I held my breath in for like a minute. And at the end, I was just like, I don't want to do it here. I was just like, like even louder. And then she's like, I take it off, and then like I see her like, and but that's the thing. There's this energy in my gut, man.
Really?
It's the energy from the grudge. So that's one of them. So I need to let it out. And I think the other thing is I need to start screaming, like catharsis. You know, start yelling at the things. I kind of just want to scream. Yeah. Because there was a day my parents weren't home. It's funny to say that. It's like high school. And I was meditating, and the dog was there. And like the dog, it was like abused. So I'm like, I wonder if he's gonna get mad if I do this and piss on the floor, pee on the floor. He didn't. But I was screaming.
Really?
Letting out all my aggression.
What did that do for you?
I felt better. I was sweating. I felt warm. I felt heated. I mean, it's like an Epsom salt bath after, but like it was like, wow, I feel like I relieved some pain that was stuck in me. Not enough though. A little bit. It's only like 20 seconds I did it, but it's like you feel like you're crazy when you do it.
That's a long time to be screaming.
Well, I had a friend. Well, I mean, my friends who do lots of psychedelics, we have this like small like 5-person Facebook group. They post videos of themselves laughing at the camera for 6 minutes, dude. like that laugh, like and like they're just laughing, and that's all they're doing. And I'm sitting here scratching my head, pondering: is that the answer? Is that the answer?
I do that if I feel down. If I feel down, I'll laugh randomly, and it just changes your state. It just changes your biorhythm.
If you tell yourself I love myself, if you say I love myself over and over, your life will change. It's proven. The way it's like affirmations, right?
That's true.
Yeah. Grudges. So there's the ex-girlfriend. Not a bad person. It's just the situation was very like I should have left.
Yeah.
And I'm too much of a wuss to do that. Paralyzed. I don't know, you're just smiling at me. What other grudges do I have? I mean,
why can't you let them go?
I don't know. I mean, I am letting them go, but like there's still a piece of it there. Like I think back and I'm like, or if someone brings it up, I'm like, you know, it's like, damn it.
Yeah. So why don't you let it go?
It's like, oh, they're a bitch. This happened. Or it's like,
because you're only holding on to it for yourself, not for them, right?
Oh yeah, like it's over and done with. I don't know how they feel.
Yeah.
I don't talk to them.
And like they're fine.
Yeah, they're doing their own thing.
Yeah.
Whether they're fine or not, they're coping.
Right now, you just said your ex, and she's like laughing somewhere.
Probably
not at you, but like someone just told a joke, and she's just like giggling.
Yeah, I know, it's funny, right?
And you're like, you have a grudge.
Well, I'm not like thinking about it all the time, but like if someone brings it up, I notice my energy's like, it goes back to that like initial like first few like 4 or 5 weeks of being single, where it's like, like, can't believe you did that. And it's like, and I'm like, whoa, and I catch it because I'm very in tune with energy now, and I'm like, whoa, and I'm like, I'm myself, and I'm like, no, man, let that go.
True.
And sometimes I'm having the conversation, I'm like, too much? I'm like, yeah, too much.
Man.
What other grudges do I have? Like, I don't hold. I have resentment.
It's just something. It's resentment too. Yeah,
I have resentment towards people.
It's something to think about because, like, if you can let those things go, it lightens you.
Yeah, like there's like one other friend of mine who I don't hang out with as much anymore because all he does is talk about. He's like a pro-vaxxer, a vaccination guy. He thinks I'm crazy. You know, he's all about politics. He's like always arguing. He always wants to talk about that, and I'm like, it's too much, man.
Yeah.
You know, he's like divorced, child support, has a kid. I'm like, yo, man, and like if he sees this, I'm sorry, but.
Just a little bitter. It happens.
It's just being around those energies create resentment, and it's not because you're a bad person. It's because there's something in you got to let out, and it's not being let out, which is why I want to do that 7-gram dose on Monday of psilocybin.
You should.
I'm scared shitless though.
That's how it is.
I'm overthinking that because I'm like, what if I die?
You're not gonna die. Well, you will, but you're not at the same time.
What does that even mean?
Like you'll come out different, right? Like every time you do a psilocybin, every time, like I've done how many psilocybin doses, how many hero doses, 7 grams and up, and every
20 times.
Yeah, probably more. I mean, that's back. Me and Johnson were like warlocks back in the day. Like we were just fucking always sitting over some fucking brew like every single night. So it's probably more than 20 times, but every time you're like nervous.
I'm gonna do
every single time you're scared.
I'm gonna do 7 grams.
Like
and here's the thing, like where I'm staying with my parents, I'm in the living room. There's some weird energy in that place. I was seeing like outlines of people. You know, in movies when you see someone who's invisible and you see their outline, I was seeing that shit, and I'm not crazy. There's some, because I've had confirmations from mediums that there's energy in my parents' house. My close friend Ben confirmed that there's 2 female energies and 1 male, and those are my grandfather, which passed in 2009. What's it, 2019? Oh my god. And then my grandmother and my great grandmother, who passed on years following.
How do you know it's them?
Because when Ben tapped, and of course we're taking this based off what he's saying. I don't know. It could be just, we don't know.
Yeah.
It could be my dad's side too. It's my mom's side I'm referencing, because I never met my dad's side. His parents passed. My dad's mom died when he was 7.
Wow.
It's hard. And his dad died in the Bahamas when he was on vacation. So my dad didn't have a goodbye.
Jesus.
Which is why my dad is a bit more closed off, and I understand. That's why I have to be a bit more softer sometimes and be like, "Okay, I get it. You're pissed. But I know what's actually going on." You know, it's just you learn people's patterns. But my dad was 24 when that happened, so I didn't get to meet his parents. I mean, I met my mom's parents, but the reason we think that is because my friend Ben tapped in and sees this. He was able to, and he's never been to my parents' house. He was able to see the entire. So in my basement, it's a circle. People who know me will know this. You don't know. It's a circle, and then there's a bar. And the bar, you enter on the left and you go to the right. There's a picture here and a clock. And then it's a window and it's like an angle, and then the other side. And it's all alcohol. He's like, I see a bar. It's mirrored. It goes one way. There's pictures on the left, and it turns, and there's a lot of alcohol, and there's paintings, and there's other stuff behind there. It's kind of cluttered. And it's almost colder in that spot. There's a figure there with a mustache, and he's tall. And I'm like, my grandfather was always tall before he had a stroke and had a big mustache. And he's like, he looks Italian. But we're Jewish, we're not Italian. We're like Russian British. And I'm like, I could explain a lot. I'm like, but how does he know that? And why is he at the bar? The hell, like, so then we go down there. I go down there, and there's paintings from his room there, and there's paintings from their old apartment there. And I'm like, is the energy in the painting? Does energy hold on in objects? Does this chair contain like 20,000 people or 15 people you interviewed? You know what I mean? Well, you've interviewed 5, but like prior, right? We don't know.
Oh, that chair has been through about almost 100 people.
No wonder I don't feel alone. Well, I mean, but then he did it again. He found like a coat, and like we found a coat in a ring in my mom's closet, like her like walk-in closet, and because he felt energy up there. But he confirmed there's like because I was.
Has he ever been to your house?
No.
Really?
And I'm like, so what does that walk-in closet look like? And he's like, well, you walk in, you go to the right. I'm like, is there like and then what's on the ceiling? Well, there's like an attic entrance. I'm like, what? Because there's an attic entrance in that walk-in closet. And I'm like,
no way.
It was like astral projections, I guess. That's what he called it, I guess. And
what?
Yeah, and you know, it was weird because
he's so informational, and then all of a sudden we just took this turn.
Well, I mean, because like now I've been that's the thing. Talking about psychedelics, and like I'm scared I'm gonna see things when I'm there.
You're not though.
But like, so I've been sleeping in the living room, and I feel this energy, right? This painting, it's like pictures of the family, both families on each side on the counter in front of me. But there was a night where my mom went to bed, and all of a sudden my feet just got frozen, like something was holding it.
Yeah,
and it was only my left foot, and I get cold in my hands and feet often because I fast a lot, and I'm plant based, and I have an iodine deficiency, so I sometimes forget to take that. So it could be that. It could just be like the cold season. The house backs off the wall right there in front of me where I am. Imagine my table is a wall. That wall faces north. The wind could be blowing. That side gets cold. My parents' room gets cold. It could be all like made up. But I kept looking to the left, and I'm like, I'm seeing these outlines, and I'm seeing these things around me, and I'm like, what the heck's going on?
If it's just your grandparents, you don't have anything to worry about, because like if your grandparents are around, it's just to like protect you.
Yeah, I asked my other friend who's like an empath. She's like, oh, it's your family. You should be happy. I'm like, no.
Yeah,
it's like weird. But that's just my own fear, because when you overthink something like I do, you'll make it up in your head and you'll see it.
And and they're not going to come when you're tripping on mushrooms.
Well, they come at nighttime. That's the thing I noticed.
Well, they're not going to come when
energy comes in night. Well, they're going to know too. But who knows what they see? I have this feeling that like people who are in the other plane, if they're in another world.
What do you think?
I feel like it's almost like, because you know how like we hear about poltergeists, how like things can like move something.
Yeah.
Maybe in that, I was thinking in that world, because you've seen the movie Doctor Strange.
Yes, of course.
If you've seen that, they're fighting in the hospital room, and like they're trying to bring him back to life. And it's fighting that one ghost person. It's like any heavy hit makes something move. Maybe for those people, they're like underwater where like gravity's is off, and to hit something it takes so much energy that it's like a tap.
Mm-hmm.
But then it's really just they're in a whole different reality.
Yeah.
I had this thought once, and I'm like, and I was sober too, and I thought of it to make that clear, and I'm like, that would be so cool if that's how it worked. It's like you're underwater and like you move in that stance, and you're like, whoa. And it's like that's where you are in like the underworld or something, or where you're trying to decide if it's time to reincarnate yet. You know,
I don't know, man.
It's all mystery. It's all fiction in my mind. But
me and my buddy were talking about that. Like, what happens when you take that last breath and you like pass away? Like, what kind of?
Oh, have you talked to anybody who's had an NDE, like near death experience?
I've watched a lot of videos about it, and like people like standing over their body and not wanting to go back, and then they see a relative, and the relative's like, "You gotta go," and like they push them back into their body and stuff like that.
Man, that's scary. Actually, it's more interesting because we're so used to this, right? Like we're kind of like, I want to see something new.
That's what he was saying.
That's why I'm leaving.
He's like, I'm interested. He's like, I'm interested to see what's on the other side, because he's like, for sure there's something on the other side.
And that's what people say to me too. Like my friend was telling me, like, hey, like he thinks that psychedelics are addicting. It's like because like you're addicted to that energy. He almost refers to it as a feminine energy because you're so used to having to resort to it. And I'm like, well, I get that, but it makes sense because we're so. I told he because he's never done it. And I'm like, well, that's kind of subjective, but he does a lot of research on it. And he's asking me, well, why do you do it? I'm like, well, because he made the claim as well, you can reach that in a natural state. But like meditation, you can get there over the years. Like the Buddhist monks do that. But the setup to get there takes it's different. It's not just in the Western civilization with the speed of everything. It'll take a lot longer to get there. Who knows if you can? I don't really know.
Yeah, you can train a pigeon to like carry notes for you too. But like, why would you do that? You can send an email.
Yeah, but exactly, and that's like, the thing. And I think I had to explain, like, I'm not trying to get to this state naturally. I like to take something and see a whole different perspective because it gives me the answers quicker. Because I don't want to wait 20 years of practicing meditation to find out if going to Bali is the right answer.
Yeah, right.
The reason I'm going to Bali too, and I just threw that out there, is because I got told to go backpacking by my old roommate, and then I was all against it. Because it's like hostels and being all scared. And then my friend was like, you got to go to Bali, man. And then,
they're going to turn off. Okay, they're going to turn off.
Well, I think because you spent time setting the cameras up, too.
Oh, fuck. You were blurry for a minute. Shit. Don't worry. Got you.
Don't worry, man. You can probably unblur that.
You think so? Is there a thing that does that?
That'd be so cool. I wish there was.
There's not, though, right? There's not. There's nothing that does that.
No.
Which is bullshit. Adobe needs to step it on up.
I don't know how you would do that though. You have to like predict the pixels and like the frame and like the quality. I don't know how
you should like I should be able to take whatever was blurry there and like put it alongside something that wasn't, and then it should be able to mimic that.
Oh yeah, it's like a content awareness tool in Photoshop.
That's exactly what should happen.
If you know that one, like you select something with the marquee, like the dash line one. You select things, you can move it. No, you probably don't know.
No,
so you make a selection in like any picture. Let's say it's like a watermark, and you select it. You right click the layer and you hit.
Oh, forget about that. What were we just talking about?
But you can like remove that stuff. It's pretty cool. We were talking about going to Bali, but
Bali.
also
what if
psychedelics though, and like the curiosity behind doing it. It saves time.
What if your grandparents came to you while you were tripping and you like fully saw them, and they were like, "You need to go to Bali and only Bali, nowhere else. Go there now." What if they said that? Would you actually act on it?
Wow. I mean, I would go to London and then just like detour.
What if they said only Bali? But like said go to Bali.
Even though their family and my family is
what
there?
If they were just like go to Bali only?
If I knew it was actually them saying it, I guess I'd have to do it. I don't know if I would though. I don't know because I kind of want to go to London though.
Right.
It's kind of like, see, now I'm being selfish. I'm like, yeah, but like, you know, I don't want to take your advice yet.
Jeez, that's what you do? Holy shit. Look at you. I would just act on whatever they told me. Right.
No. Like I like, because I know what I want. That's the thing. And when someone tries to tell me what to do, I'm like, I'll let that process in this part of my brain for a bit.
Yeah, but that's a person. What if like a spirit told you that?
Oh, okay. See, you say it that way, but how do we have to confirm it's a spirit though? Because like if I'm on psychedelics, it's like, is that the case?
Yeah.
Okay, because I don't know if it's just like a random spirit and I actually see them and they're like moving. That's like theoretically, but if it's on psychedelics, then maybe. But I don't know if you can. Have you seen spirits on psychedelics? I don't know.
I don't know. I've like on DMT, I saw the DMT feminine energy. Like I actually saw the
Oh, I remember this.
the native woman that they well, in my mind it was like this native woman, and she had these braids, and she was like a little girl at first, and she was on a swing, and then all of a sudden she just bursted into like a dream catcher.
I was to say, was she hot? But she's a little girl.
No, she's like a young girl. She was like has to be like 6, and then all of a sudden she like bursted into this geometric shape, which is like the shape of a dream catcher, and then all of a sudden like out of the darkness, like an old, very old, the same woman but very old with gray hair, same hair. She was like playing this song. She's going.
That's so. I can tell you she heard that because you're doing it right.
Yeah,
it sounds right. Have others seen that too? It's like ingrained in you.
It's weird.
But like, have others reported that same song?
Oh, the song, yeah, the song plays. The song was playing while we were like on it.
Oh, okay.
But you hear it after, and it's weird. I don't know. You hear it for days after.
Because I thought, well, yeah, that's like extreme like song stuck in your head. But I thought you meant like, I think you told me that too. Like others have heard it, but I thought you meant like others have
others have seen
the same thing.
The woman.
Okay, I thought like the song wasn't something they were playing, and like you hear it from the trip, and like other people have heard and seen that. On the trip.
When you hear that song, everybody that hears it, they feel like it's very familiar. They feel like they've heard it 100 times before.
Maybe we're all the same. We're all from the same source.
You think so?
Maybe.
What do you think? What do you think your actual passion is in life? Like, what do you think your actual purpose is?
That's a good question, because I've always been like tampering with things and always overwhelmed with work and thinking that's all I have to do. But then when I kind of step away and I just have my own time to myself, it's hard to answer that question. I still haven't found it.
No,
you
don't think so?
Like hobby wise, right? Like I don't know how to answer that question passionately. Like, can that be like what I do now?
Is it?
I like creating, to be honest.
You're the one that's supposed to know.
I know, and it's hard to, because I don't really know. I mean, I love creating. I love making music. I'm an artist.
I think if you don't know, you haven't found it.
No, and that's why like I know what I like, but what am I passionate about? It's definitely helping people.
That's where I'm at too. Helping people is like the key thing.
I like helping bring other people to the same awareness I'm at, because I've already gotten a lot, and I know there's more to obtain, and I'm gonna always work on myself, but a lot of others aren't there. I like helping people get there, and it might not be the final answer. It's always changing, I think, but
yeah.
I think in the moment the passion is like I like helping these entrepreneurs with their business and showing them that it's not about over obsession. Like, you can be obsessed, but like even anybody else too, helping just someone who wants like a diet tip or anything, like just look at it from a perspective of how do I enjoy this? It's like enjoying the moment, man.
How are you gonna find your passion? How are you gonna find your purpose in life? Like, if it's helping people, it has to be like on a certain scale.
Yeah, and that's
like, I know I want to pull people out of anybody who was like in a position that I was in, where they're like hating life, working shitty jobs, and like not wanting to be around anymore, kind of thing. Like,
I like bringing people to the same awareness I have. And in fact, I did that with a good friend of mine, because he was that same friend working the job. We've talked about this before. Mm-hmm. He was there for like 4 years after I left, and.
But how are you gonna do it though?
Well, with him, it was actually all a test in itself. I just didn't really like want to believe it, but like he came down, he didn't know what he wanted, and I gave him half a tab of LSD, and he was like, "Whoa, this is cool." And then
yeah, but the thing is, you can't do that with everybody.
No.
Like in life,
but with him, he was ready for this, and like he wanted to explore it, and then he did 2 grams of shrooms, and he kind of just quit his job, changed his life. Then I supported him.
Scalable, because it's not scalable for you to give everybody.
So I can't use that,
because I've given people. Well, actually, I won't say that, but like, yeah,
cut that
out. The scalable stuff, like what are you gonna?
Because
what do you think your passion is, or your purpose, and how are you gonna find it?
So maybe helping people, like I was explaining in that story, is not exactly it. Maybe that's just me being a caring person. Passion, so tough. Can you guys help me here? 20 weeks later, can you help me? I'm just guessing. I don't know how long it'll take to get this out.
It's weird, right?
It's a hard
think about that.
Do you have is what you told me your answer? Like you're passionate about helping others get out of where you...
Yeah, like basically this podcast, anybody who doesn't have the skills or like basically like when I was working in a grocery store, because I've worked in many, I was working at Bad Boy as a fucking warranty specialist. I've worked at a factory that makes baby toys. I've worked at Grandin Toy in the distribution center. I've worked in freezers. I've worked in I've worked in so many different jobs, and I hated all of them. And I had no idea what to do. And I realized that I was going to work labor jobs for the rest of my life unless I learned some kind of skills. And then I figured out, okay, like I have to figure out what these skills are. And as I was trying to figure that out, as I was learning those skills through YouTube and through like any means that I possibly could, the one thing that kept me going through all those jobs were interviews and podcasts, like listening to James Lipton do interviews inside the actor studio, listening to Joe Rogan interview people, listening to Howard Stern interview people, like, and hearing their stories and hearing that like they've had shit like when you listen to Howard Stern, you hear all these famous people that have garbage situations and like they made it work.
Yeah, like Howard Stern.
And like that was the thing that pulled me through. So like if I could do the same thing for people through this podcast, then like it's all worth it 100%. Like I know the podcast is like definitely part of the purpose. Like I have like my book of affirmations. Like my affirmation is that I'm the best interviewer in the world. So like it's a big part of my life, and it's going to be for like a very, very, very long time interviewing people. So I know that I want to help people through that. I know I want to help people through motivational talks. I don't really know who I'm going to talk in front of, but I got to do that. And I know that I'm going to make inspirational content. That's why I was priming. That's why I've been priming my Instagram and my Facebook with all these inspirational reposts from all these different pages. Because soon it's going to be, you know, like 5 different reposts, and then it's going to be me. And then like it's going to be 5 different reposts, and then it's going to be me. And then eventually it's just going to be like just me, you know?
No, I feel
and the things that inspire me and stuff. So definitely helping people get out of those situations and realize that there is more. There's more to life, and that you can do it. Like the shit is hard. The shit of life is hard. Like it's hard to get through it all, but like we can get through it. If like Samuel L. Jackson could be a fucking drug addict at one point in his life.
Was he actually?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, man.
Is that new movie coming out?
Or no, maybe it was Morgan Freeman. He was talking about being like a drug addict at one point.
Man, he's like almost 90.
Like so many people talk about like these hard... Madonna. You know when Madonna first got to New York, within like the first week she got raped? Like because she was trying to make it. Within like the first fucking week she got raped by somebody. Like people come from like horrible situations, but like they make it work. And like I want to show people that like they're one of those people that have a shitty situation and can make it work. And like that's basically all I know right now. My intuition's telling me to just focus on the podcast, focus on making inspirational content, and something's gonna happen from there. I just don't know what.
Well, that's how I feel about my content too. But that's not passion. I mean, like, see, that right there is a good answer, because that's everything in what you believe in. Yeah. But that is what you're doing. So I know you on a personal level, when you focus and you dive in, you get it done.
Yeah, definitely.
And from the advice too you've given me, and countless of others, just the conversations we've had too, because we were in that men's group together too. Yeah, right. You know, very different tone of voice and mindset when it's actually about helping someone versus just shooting the shit. Yeah. So you got me thinking there, but I mean, it's not me copying you, and I'm not going to say anything that you said, but it just makes me feel like, it's still helping other people. Yeah. But I like teaching people that life doesn't have to be complicated, but it has to be complicated. Yeah. It's fun.
Okay, I get that.
But it's also not fun.
Yeah.
You know, you can enjoy it and you can hate it. It's almost like the yin and the yang. Yeah. Or is it the yin and yang?
Yeah, I think it's yin and yang, actually.
Man, everyone. So, like, that's the original. And then someone else said it one way. And then Jordan Peterson said it a different... He said, like, the yang and the yang. He said it in a different way in his book, on the audiobook. I'm like, man, which one is the... Is there, like, are there, like, subcategory definitions of this one term?
It's the schlemiel and the schlemazel.
Yeah.
You know? Same thing, basically.
Oh, my God. Is that a Jewish term?
Yeah, it's Yiddish.
You
don't know that?
I don't know Yiddish. Sure.
Oh, Jesus. Come on.
Well, I guess you just know Jewish more than I do. Or Yiddish. No, but when you said it, I'm like, it sounds like of my religion.
Yeah.
No, but like it's helping people. It's raising them up to the right frequency. But it's doing it in a way where they learn that they have to get their shit in order. Like, stop making excuses. It's getting people to learn that they need to become a strategist, and that they're the only one responsible for taking action. Like, if you want to eat organic food, no one's gonna come do it for you. You do it yourself.
Yeah.
Like, I bought an organic apple today. Cool. You know why? Because I went there and I did it.
Yeah.
And that's all it is. But I had fun doing it.
Yeah.
I drove there. So I was waiting to come here. I went in, got the apple. I twisted the top off. Man, that was fun. I cleaned the apple in my pants. I'm surprised these pants are still clean. I'm kidding. And then I ate it. Yeah, and it was like the greatest experience. It's making. I love showing people that you can have fun no matter what you do. That's really what it is. I've always been a happy person, and the only time I've ever been sad and down is when I was either too focused on others, trying to save people, whether it's friends or past relationship partners.
Yeah.
Or I would say being in a crappy situation myself and not knowing how to handle and address it while I'm in that moment. So like it's like when you're when you're running, you're only gonna know what it's like when to feel the buildup of lactic acid and the pain and inflammation or just joint pain, all the stuff when you're in the moment.
Yeah.
So it's like when people say you just have to get better at, like, you can't understand it until you're in the moment. It's like doing a heavy bench press set. Until you're doing that heavy set and you're on those last few reps and you want to get stronger, it's the grinder reps. You have to be in the moment to experience every single tissue contracting and knowing that you could potentially fail and go downward and descend.
Yeah.
But you want to ascend, and it's again good and bad, but it's also knowing that you have to be in the moment and you have to figure out what it feels like, because you'll enjoy it and you'll learn to be like, when you're in that moment and you're pushing, you'll be like, now it's time to scream. Yeah. Because I'm excited for this exact 2-second moment. And it's learning how to just think within all this. I think that's really what it is too.
I think you're going to be speaker.
Oh,
That's
yeah,
what
totally.
I think you're gonna do.
Oh, no.
I think your primary thing that you're going to do the most of, and you're not even going to see it coming, is the primary thing that you're going to be doing the most is going to be speaking in front of people.
Funny, I hired a coach last year to help me get speaking gigs.
And did you really?
Yeah. I paid. Yeah, I'll tell you that later.
And you're going to stop editing videos.
I think I'm going to outsource that.
Yeah.
I'm going to.
You're going to push that away, and you're not going to be doing that, and you're going to focus on you're going to, like, obviously write books and stuff, but you're going to focus on speaking, and that's going to be like your main thing.
I think speaking would be the greatest thing, because it's not about the money, it's about the impact. It's showing people that you can have fun doing what you do, and you can just laugh about it.
I think that's.
I'm not here to say that life is a video game. It's not. I mean, it could be, but like life is a series of lessons, and you're gonna have good times and bad times, like I said. But even if it's bad, it could still be good. It's just you're being challenged to actually make a choice.
Yeah, I was having.
I heard that in your voice.
I was having a conversation with somebody about that, and they were basically talking about how, like, they didn't want to. They were talking about how we should talk about life in a kind of sugarcoating it. It's basically about my run and how I say that the runs are hard, and it's because they are. It's fucking hard to basically. I'm almost running a 5K a day, like almost. Like if I choose to run back, I'm running like 7.2K a day. Like if I choose to run there and back, so it's like it is hard. And like life is hard. Like I really roll with Jordan Peterson and what he says about like how life is, like, it's miserable, but the great thing is that you are strong enough to handle it and to make good of it. Like it's a really good philosophy to have, because like I said to the person, I'm like, if I tell everybody that my run is so easy and that I felt light and great, like, as I was doing it, and then one of them goes to do it and they fucking have this hard, crazy time, they're going to be like, what the fuck? They're going to be like, obviously I'm not up to the task. I'm not like him. Right. But if I tell them that it's hard, they're going into it with the notion that, like, this is going to be difficult, but I'm strong enough to do it. So I'm going to try. And I like that much better than, because for a long time I've been a part of the whole like change your perception, say everything's good, say everything's nice. It's like no, at a certain time, and because like I've been following the Goggins philosophy, like shit's not good all the time. And
No,
like
it's not.
And you should embrace that instead of fucking running from it.
Well, that's what like. I mean, I've been noticing this with living at home, like, because I see the struggle with like my family, and that's their own story to define, and maybe they won't even define it. They're an older generation, but I see the struggle, and they see me, and like it's almost like they're pushing things that are too hard, making it seem as too hard. I'm like, it's not. It's simple, but it's a challenge. And then I look at other things in my life where, like my work and what I do and my clients. It's not even work, man.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love sitting down and just typing away and coding and putting on some nice like R&B or some house. And it's calming. Put on some like meditation music, some chakra music. Shake it up a bit. It's fun.
Yeah.
I don't find what I do like editing it. I edited like 3 clips today for a video that I have to post later tonight. That wasn't hard, but it was hard at one point, and I got better at it through repetition. But it was fun to do it because I'm like, let's see. Because my thing's about being fast.
Yeah.
I didn't touch about that earlier. That's what gaming does. It gets you to look around a certain way, but it makes you faster.
Yeah.
Because then your reaction time's quick. So when you get 2 monitors rolling like you have, when you edit, I used to use 2. I use 1. It's big difference. Like you're just like.
I had 3 before. One of them crapped out on me. I was so pissed.
Big difference, right?
3 is so much better.
I've never had 3. Shit.
So
I've had
good.
2. 2 is fun.
You can put your timeline over here. You can put the thing
Oh
over
my
there.
God.
You can have your effects in one screen.
I've never
if you
seen
want.
that. And I was like, I don't want that.
It's so
But
good.
now that I'm traveling, I'm not going to be. I mean, I could. I can bring a monitor with me if I want.
Do it. You can get one out there.
Dude, I'm bringing my juicer. I'm on top of this. I was supposed to talk about this earlier. I'm bringing my juicer and my NutriBullet with me. Everyone's like, you're crazy. I'm like, no. My juicer is part of my life because number 1, celery juice cures a lot of things, and I like juicing stuff. Number 2, my smoothie is like the greatest thing ever, and I fucking love making my smoothie.
Do you know what the plugs are over there?
Oh yeah.
'Cause you're gonna need like a plug adapter. Or something.
In London, I'll need a universal, and then
Indonesia, you're gonna need electricity.
Indonesia,
They
I'm
might
gonna
not
have
that over there.
Indonesia, I'm gonna need a freaking mule and like a thing to like make. You know what I'm talking about?
Do you know where you're staying in Bali at all?
So I'm landing in the main city. I don't even know the name. Like that's not how bad I am at this, but I'm
The
heading
main
north.
city?
It's like
The capital?
like the main spot where like the airport is, the capital, and then I'm
Okay.
heading north to Ubud.
Ubud.
That's where we're going. Smaller town.
I want to look this place up.
It's UBUD
Ubud. That's amazing, man.
or Ubud. Yeah,
I'm so proud that you're doing that.
appreciate it. I'm happy too. I was closed off originally because I looked at it as it was too hard, and then I thought about it. No, it's not hard. I'm scared. So why don't we just look at it as book it and then go?
You should, man.
My friend Daryl was telling me that because he went to my friend Daryl travels the world. He's nomadic right now, basically.
Good lord, this place is gorgeous, man.
Dude, it's sexy, right?
Holy fuck. Yeah, dude, get out there, man. Like, what are you, 27 now?
I consider myself to be 12, but yeah, I was 27.
Man, I wish I did this when
Teaching.
I was 27.
Here we go. Here's the purpose: teaching people how to become kids again.
Teaching people how to become kids again. You don't want to do that.
Nah, let's finger paint, guys. Imagine that at like an ayahuasca retreat. Paint the walls.
You could. I mean,
I don't know. You're painting like snakes with your mind, and you come back out of it, you just see like a line.
but when it comes to like passion, purpose, you'll find it.
No, my purpose is like. Oh, I was talking about passion. Yeah, that's what I meant. I mean, like today,
You're gonna become a lifestyle entrepreneur. That's what we call them in 2019. They're lifestyle entrepreneurs.
Oh, it's always a trend. That's what's 2020.
Like Lewis Howes, or like Tom Bilyeu. You're gonna be like one of those guys.
School of greatness.
100%. That's how you're gonna be. Because you're gonna know so much about health. You're gonna know so much about content. You're gonna know so much about life.
I'm basically a branding expert.
And then,
I'm a branding and energy expert.
And then you're gonna know about branding, and it's gonna be very easy for you to like put it all together.
Well, that's what I'm doing. I was talking because the woman I'm going to meet up with, and there's a reason. Like, I'm actually pretty grateful I connected with her because you and her have the same personality type. So
Really?
you're both ENFPs. That's what they call it on the 16personalities.com. I'm what's known as, I was mistyped. I thought I was an ENFJ. I'm actually an INFJ. And each personality has 3 others within them. So there's your ego, which is the main one, which ENFP, INFJ. Quiet you. Pretty hungry. and then we have a shadow. My shadow is an ENFP.
Huh.
Your shadow is an INFJ.
Really?
Yeah, and your personalities will come out at different times. Certain things you do will be things that each personality does. So I can be creative like an ENFP, and say certain things. So ENFPs basically are really good at being a visionary. I think I've told you this before. So you can think of ideas, and you can still take action. That's your INFJ, and other things like that. But you can still think of things, be very like focused on that, and that's your main source. And then you can input that to an INFJ who's good at being the neck, finalizing out, like, you know, getting the work done, implementing, right? Implementer.
Being Oprah.
Basically, being Oprah.
Being the Oprah.
Yeah, so you can input me and I'll output. So like you can input ideas and I'll output the actual way we do it. And my client Mitchell's like that, where we found out he's an ENFP, and I'm like, makes sense, because let me guess, you're overwhelmed right now, but you have a lot of great ideas. He's like, oh my God, yes. And when you tell me things, you're amazed because I can output the actual structure and system for you, and you can't even think of that. He's like, dude, are you in my brain right now? I'm like,
So what is that? Because like I remember I showed you the test that I did, and I showed you my girlfriend. She was a counselor. What is that again? I should actually just check.
Do you check? I don't have my phone. It's over there. I don't want to get up.
What is a counselor?
Search 16 personalities. A counselor. I think the counselor is an INFJ.
Really?
It might be. No. It might be another one. I don't know all of them yet. What do we got?
Oh, INFJ.
So
wow, you're getting good at this, eh?
Yeah, counselor's INFJ. So that's why you and her, like, do you notice like you and how do I not know her name?
My girlfriend?
How did I forget her name? Sherry.
Yeah.
Like, do you ever notice that you and her, like, you both bounce off each other really? Like, you guys function as a unit correctly. Do you notice that?
Yeah, that's why when I met her, like, I remember, like, we knew each other for like maybe 2 months, but I'm like, I want to work with this girl. Like, I wish this person was an entrepreneur, because like if we work together, this would be perfect.
You see my point?
Like, she would like, because I can like visualize things, and she can just be like, this is how you're gonna do it.
You wonder why she's a manager, right?
Yeah.
Now? So you wonder why she's in charge, because she knows how to have structure.
Yeah.
Did she ever give you structured advice?
Yeah.
Do you ever feel like you're all over the place and you tell her and she gives you direction?
Yeah, I remember.
Oh!
I remember when we first met, and she gave me like some structured advice, and I got pissed off because I didn't want it. I told her I didn't want it. I'm like,
but
I
knew she was right.
Yeah, exactly.
And you're like, how does she know that and I don't?
I was like, leave me alone.
But so it's funny actually. That's actually mind blowing. Because like the woman I'm talking to, she's the ENFP, but then I'm INFJ, so the opposite setup. But yeah, so I probably think like Sherry, and you think like her, and
yeah, she's very like very systematic with things.
And then the other two personalities, I only remember the other one, but the other one in an INFJ, which is their subconscious mind, is an ESTP. Now, I've concluded that my dad is an ESTP, which would explain why subconsciously, when my dad gets pissed off, gets frustrated, yells at me, we have this right versus wrong argument, I can understand and feel exactly where he is, and he denies it, but I can understand him and I know how he operates. Mm-hmm. Because my dad, more so an ESTP personality, they will talk to you in a negative manner and beat you down, not physically, mentally, to rock bottom to build you back up. So and I do that. We talked about that earlier, but that's my subconscious ESTP. My dad has it, and I was grown up with him, so maybe it came out more in my evolution. Wow. INFJs are more insecure, sorry to cut over you. INFJs are more insecure, but having an ESTP in your life can challenge you to become more confident and outspoken. So that explains why I'm not as insecure, which is why people are like, are you sure you're an INFJ? Because you should be more in your head. I'm like, well, I'm more extroverted because I'm always in my head.
Yeah, exactly. Why don't you just show them the characteristics of it and be like, hey, is this you? Just show it to
them. I read this article on it. I'm like, that's him.
Just show him. Be like, hey, is this you?
Yeah, I should actually ask him
and see what happens.
Well, because
he might be like, yes.
There was a part where it says like they don't believe in spiritual things, woo supplements, health, because like they're based off scientific facts, research, reviews, like truth. And I realized, yeah, my dad's never taken supplements. My dad doesn't believe in woo. He's like, you're nuts. No, it's not this. It's not that. Like, it's like, prove it. No, this, that. I'm like, it explains it. That's because my mom is a different personality, and she's like, because I had her do it actually. My dad hasn't. I don't want to ask him. He'll be like,
she won't even. She did it. What is she?
I have to see the list. I don't remember. It's an I one.
Wow. Yeah, she is this. Wow, she is this. She's exactly this.
Isn't that amazing?
That's fucked. She's genuinely warm as they are complex, have deep insight into other people and such. Yeah, she has great. She told.
Does she get gut feelings a lot?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, you know how, like, my situation with the thing that I had to walk away from and everything? Like, that person, she called that person out, like, way before.
Oh, and I could see it too. Way before, too.
Like, way before.
When I met him, I knew it too. And you were like, what? I'm like, I see it. You're like, no. I'm like, no. Remember when that person was, it's like there's a situation where that person would like.
Sorry guys, we can't name any names.
Well, we might not even have this here. No, but this individual said to me like, oh, you don't even look like you work out. I would never pay you to train me. And I'm like, remember, and I was like, in my gut, I'm like, man, I just knew like exactly what I felt before. Like you just aren't happy, right? pain. Like, and I was always getting this gut feeling prior, and I'm like, this confirms it. There's the gut feeling is I'm feeling you. It's just like it's like my stomach's in a knot, right? So
wow,
I get like that a lot in public, and we don't know why. INFJs, like, if you ask Sherry, she'll probably guess, but we don't know why we feel that way. We try to guess, but we never get the answer.
Yeah, and funny enough, like, she's really good with public speaking. Like, it doesn't phase her at all.
Same
but
thing with me.
But one-on-one, she gets like in her head about it.
I do too.
That's crazy.
Like, I have a call today with my client. I'm like, oh god, here we go. Actually, the call's like in 20. It's not in 20 minutes, but like. I think it's almost 4 o'clock, so like
it's 4:30.
What? Well, we'll see if he messaged me.
Do you got it? Oh, okay, you're gonna.
We'll end it by 5. Be good.
Wow. Yeah, and then gentle, caring, complex, abstract in communication. They live in a world of hidden meanings and possibilities. Have rich, vivid inner life. Yeah, she's constantly listening to like sci-fi, like different different like.
That's new.
Like when I listen to I listen to David Goggins. I listen to fucking Eric Thomas. I listen to fucking Jordan Peterson. She'll be listening to like it's like some story about like some made up thing. Like
I watch Top Fives a lot, which is like about aliens and ghosts and like I'm obsessed.
I watch those too.
Yo, I'm obsessed with Poltergeist for some reason. I never no.
Just like the theory of Poltergeist.
I never want to see one, but I kind of do. It gives me shivers right now because
you wouldn't want to see one. I don't know. I feel like I wouldn't want to see one just because I'd trip. I'd be like,
because I know now that there's something here.
I'd feel like I wasn't safe.
And that's why when I was at home and I was feeling this energy, the next morning I woke up and no one was there. I started yelling. Like, I woke up and I just started laughing. Like, remember the meditate? Like, my friends were like laughing in video for 5 minutes. I woke up after a bad night where like I felt tapping on I sleep with headphones on. I'm freaked out.
True.
I can't sleep with silence in that room. It's so silent and it's freezing in there.
That's weird, man.
So I woke up and I was like. And when my eyes were closed, I was seeing light flashes and stuff. And I have an eye mask on. And I'm like, what the heck, man? This can't be made up. And I don't know how to explain it to anyone who's listening. I just see this like light. And like, when your eyes are closed, you see like reflections and you see things that I don't know if it's because I'm drinking non-fluoride water now. Parents have reverse osmosis.
Yeah.
Double, actually. And I used to drink fluoride when I moved out because I had a Brita filter, which, by the way, is the worst thing ever.
Is it?
By Berkeley.
I got a Brita filter.
You could have stole what's his names, you know?
No way.
Nah, he's a nice guy. Actually, I tagged him in that post, actually.
Yeah.
Because he did contribute. Like, I have nothing against anybody, ever. It's just, like, everyone contributes in a way, you know?
He pushed you a little bit.
Oh, yeah. And that's what I like about it. It's a challenge. But then you see that the pushing is there because they're not being pushed.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Right? So it's like, okay, well...
That's why they were so into me, because I constantly would push.
And you would show up.
I push.
Because you act as the reminder. So I'm kind of curious what that person's personality type is. Because then once we know them and type them, we know... Because the point of this is so first off, if Sherry wasn't an INFJ and was like a different one, like for me, I thought I was an ENFJ. And then I found out what my last girlfriend's personality type was. And it was the one where it's the most incompatible if I was an ENFJ. But I found out I'm not. So... Still, it's not a good match.
Well, for her, it's definite. Because she even looks like the thing that they're fucking characterizing the person as.
That's so funny.
Like,
I don't think I look like that, though.
No, not quite.
Same hair, I'm doing the feminine leg cross now.
Yeah,
I noticed this. I don't do this anymore. I'm like, this is more comfortable.
Like, this is... So tell me, are you value driven?
Yeah.
Do you seek meaning in relationships?
Man, if there's no meaning, I'm not in for it.
Really?
Yeah, keep going.
Meaning in ideas, events.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you're definitely like that with like events, ideas.
But everyone's different though. Like you can put 10 INFJs in a room or 50, and there'll be different ones. Some are more into the subconscious side, some are more into the shadow, some are more into the ego of it.
Because they're all people, right?
Well, when you break it, search Well, you can make a note if you want on your phone. Search.
Noam Chomsky was also one.
Who?
Look at you. You're amongst very
I don't even know that name.
Mahatma Gandhi.
Oh, wow, yeah.
Jefferson. Wow.
Thomas Jefferson?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Look at you.
If you search C.S. Joseph on YouTube.
Are you gentle, caring, and complex?
That's why women love me. And why women hate me. You know how many women call me assholes, but then they love my heart because I can be so manipulative? It's manipulation at its best, but love, it can't be manipulation.
Why do you always say that? Why do you call that manipulation?
Because I can alter my because INFJs can actually understand people's psychology. So when I understand how someone thinks, I can adapt to their situation.
Yeah, but is that manipulation, or is that just like you're adapting to the way someone thinks? Because I do that too. If I know somebody's a certain way, I can adapt and like.
Do you think it's not manipulation then?
No, I don't think so.
Because now I'm adapting to you. I'm like, maybe it's not. And he's right.
Like, I don't know, like you're very like informational, so like I know to come at you that way,
and that's kind of why
I'm manipulating you.
Yeah, and that's kind of why. No, I guess you're right there. But that's kind of something bad. That's why I went into learning and teaching myself things. By the way, is because the more information I have, the more I know if someone's full of shit or not. Because you can't trust anyone outside yourself unless they can prove it. And when you know a lot of things, it's not like a trial. It's not like you're right. It's not right versus wrong. It's just if you teach yourself first, you save time. So like that sign just came to me based on this talk.
True. That's exactly something that she would say too.
It's so interesting. Very similar.
Yeah, very, very similar.
Yeah, but C.S. Joseph talks a lot about these personalities. He'll like map out the best matches for an INFJ. It's like a 40-minute video. He'll have like a whiteboard because there's 4 different things within each personality and they all match. Or there's 8. I don't remember what it is.
Yeah, because we would work well together.
Well, you and I would, because like the woman I'm talking to, it's the opposite. It's the same setup. She input me all these ideas to make my business go to 6 figures in like a matter of like 2 weeks. Yeah. And she's like, gave you the ideas, now you just got to act on it. And I'm like, because she understands how this works. And I'm like, damn, this is, and that's why I'm so pulled to go out there, right? And you're like, whoa, hold on. And I'm like, nah, man, trust me,
bro. Because if you go to, you're gonna find your way in Bali.
No, Bali, I'm going.
Or Bali. Sorry.
You'll see it on Instagram. Like that's the point. Like that's what I was waiting until going to Bali to start my content. I'm like, well, Bali's not till February now. It's supposed to be January, originally December. Yeah, so why not start today and
don't wait.
Not start tomorrow?
Yeah. Don't wait.
Today's video day 2, and tomorrow's day 3, and then Sunday will be. I might do 6 a week actually. I mean, I know I committed to a year. Sorry. I say sorry for myself because I made a mistake. Why did I say sorry? But that's a big habit. People say sorry a lot for no reason. Ever notice that?
Yeah.
They're insecure, self-conscious. It's weird.
Also, they're Canadian, right? So.
I'm in this gaming community right now because I still game. I still play World of Warcraft, actually. I went back to the original World of Warcraft because I become so much quicker and more sharp and like faster what I do. It's a personal choice, too. I mean, like I think gaming can be destructive but also good, as I said. But it's like the server's based in the UK time. So, like, they're all British. Yeah. So they're all like, oh, hello. And I'm like, well, I'll be in London like next week. They're like, no, you're not. And I'm like, yeah. So if you guys want to have like a meetup and stuff, you know, we can all hang out. And then, but like, it's so funny going on there because like,
that's weird.
Yeah, man.
I couldn't imagine doing that. I haven't played video games in 20 years.
I remember you telling me this.
Yeah, I think they've changed quite a bit since I last played a video game.
Well, like, what was the last thing you played?
Probably Donkey Kong.
Oh, those are
Super Nintendo.
Oh wow, we're going further back than I thought. Yo, man, gaming doesn't look that grainy anymore.
Man, that looked amazing as far as I'm concerned. I don't know any different.
Well, you played the VR stuff. You should know.
The VR stuff doesn't look that good though. Like,
well, VR Donkey Kong will look even better then.
Fuck, VR Donkey Kong.
Yo, VR Super Nintendo would be pretty cool.
That'd actually be incredible. They probably have that. They must.
Well, I've thought of it, so someone else must have.
They have Duck Hunt. I know that. Johnson was playing Duck Hunt. I saw it. I was like, holy fuck.
I should go hang out with that guy. No time.
Yeah, we should. We should all go. Or both go. Or no, all. Maybe we'll take you guys.
If he ever decides to do a podcast.
Yeah, he's going to. Like, I've had enough.
Is he the kind of guy who says, yeah, I should, meaning he won't ever do it?
No, he doesn't even say I should. He just doesn't do it. I'll be like, yo, man, you want to sit down? He's like, no, I don't. And then he just closes the door on me. I'm like, what the fuck?
Well, that's the podcast. 5 minutes.
And he like gave me so many ideas towards the podcast and the vlog. I got to give him a lot of credit because I'm going back to vlogging like as I start to do the things that I'm supposed to do, it's everything that he said I should do.
So I wonder what personality he is, because he can almost tap into like metaphysics in a sense, right?
Because he's like, don't stop vlogging, and I'm like, nah, I'm stopping. He's like, no, don't. Just like, he's like, just evolve it. You can just evolve it. You don't have to stop. And I'm like, nah, man, I'm gonna just stop because I'm not happy doing it anymore. And he's like, I wasn't happy doing it because I set up a vlog that was me traveling around Toronto, and I don't like doing that.
I think I saw it.
Yeah, it's on my YouTube.
I used to see it actually. Actually, I was like looking at your videos when we did our previous one. I was like, what kind of work has this guy done? Like, I don't know, because like I know you're an editor and
right?
you film. I was like, well, I need to like.
Weird.
I just felt like looking. I'm like, let's see what he's actually done. And I'm like,
yeah, my YouTube won't show like my editing. Only my website does, and like I make sure they're very separate.
I know.
It's two different entities.
I was like, what the heck is this?
Because I don't want my YouTube. I don't want to say persona, but like that. I don't want the stuff that I've done for clients to be intertwined with that.
Yeah,
because I'm just not the same person. Like,
well, you can have two sides, right?
Like, I'm doing work for them. That's not stuff that I would ever do myself. Like, if I had a website, I would never do the type of stuff that I do for clients. And like they ask for it, so I do it. But like, it's not something that moves me.
You're also shifting the focus of who you work with, from what I know. Like
yeah, I want to get out of that that industry, the health industry. I want to like move into a different industry, something different. Like, if I had control over a client, I wouldn't tell them to do like videos like for like their web presence. I would be like, start a vlog, like vlog every single day for a year. Easy.
So you should be like directing people like what I'm doing on Instagram, just making content.
Like that. Like, that's the smartest thing for anybody to do in the health industry, because nobody knows the fucking workings of it. And like, these health people know so much that they don't realize other people don't know. Like, they don't realize that people don't know that prebiotics exist. Like, regular people don't know that. They think
I actually stopped taking
probiotics.
those.
They know there's probiotics, and they don't know what prebiotics are.
Well, they get that's called, like, I call that personal. There's a term for that. It's when you're so consumed, you think the whole world understands what you know. And
100%.
I learned that lesson too. I thought everyone knew what, like, even simple terms. Like, you throw homeostasis out there, and someone's like,
yeah.
And you talk about like macros. For the longest time, macros like protein, protein, fats, and carbs. Yeah. People didn't know what that was, but now it's caught up. Like, it's evolved. Like internet marketing and like everything else, right? Everyone gets used to it. They see more of it. And then fasting came along, and everyone's like, "What the heck's that?" And no one knew, and that's why like I went to that. I always like to be in like a step ahead of people. That's why I'm doing celery juice now, and everyone's like catching on. Next, I'll be doing like.
Stop. What's the biggest lesson you want to learn when you're in Bali? Is it to let go?
Yeah.
Really?
I want to let go. I'm too attached to a lot of things.
What do you want to let go of?
I've already been doing this now. One of my biggest things to let go of is attachment to money.
Here's a better question. Who do you want to be when you leave Bali?
I know, I hear you like about the like I heard you about the crack a laugh there, and I'm like, oh shit. You know, I have an idea of who I want to be, but I don't know if I want to share it.
Oh yeah.
Well, I'm going there to almost detach from everything here, and it's gonna suck. It's gonna be hard, as we talked about.
Painful.
But then I'm gonna adapt. It'll be easy. Get better. Get more comfortable, and then I'll like it. Maybe I won't like it. I don't know the future. You can't read articles and blogs and figure that out. But what I can say confidently what I can say based on who I know I am right now with what I've gone through is that going away to a place like this, it's not torture, but I'm trying to slow down everything. Because the biggest illusion is that we have to hustle. And that is the big thing. Because what sold me on this trip the most is when me and my friend spoke on how it's going to be 4 of us, max capacity here, in a villa. We're in Ubud, which is not as populated, more rice fields, smaller town, you travel by like bike. It's a different culture. Culture shock, man. But the big thing is, he said, we're going to go to the islands beside Bali or on Bali, and we're going to do a silent retreat for 3 or 7 days. And I said to myself, yo, this sounds crazy, but I want to do 7 days.
Yeah, why not?
And I'm scared shitless. You know why? Because I love talking. I love doing. I love fidgeting. I'm very OCD. I don't have ADHD. Maybe we all do. We all have some form of it.
Yeah.
That's check camera too. But that's the big thing. When I leave Bali, I want to know that I slowed down the pace of things. And I want to feel accepted in my own skin, that it's not all about making money, having work, and it's not about image anymore. I just want to be able to give. I had a term there I was going to say a word. It's all about giving with no attachment. It's giving because I choose to give, and I don't want anything in return. If someone says I'll pay you $1 million to come to my house and give me stuff every day and do whatever, no. I mean, I might be tempted to because it's money. That's a past thing, but no. That's why I'm going, because I want to. Because I've realized now. Because I used to be so addicted to money. Because I never had money.
Of course.
The most amount of money I've had in my bank is about 7,500, near 8,000.
Wow, look at you. I've never done that.
I don't know. That's a good end. Wow, look at you. Yeah, so I think the most I've had is about 8,000 in my bank. And I set this goal recently, like before I moved out back to my parents in 2018. I want to have 10K by the end of 2019. And now I'm kind of like, I don't even care about that anymore.
Yeah, let go of that.
You know what I want? I want to know that I'm doing exactly what I love to do, and I can make money and live the life I want no matter what. But everything is at my own pace. Yeah. And that is exactly why when I moved back home, I felt like I was becoming who I was in 2015 and thinking like I had no money and had no value. But it's different. I have value. I know what I do. It's like almost as if I was shaming myself. Yeah. So definitely. Going away. So first off, Monday, 7 grams, dissolution, my friend, dissolving ego.
It's amazing.
It was the decision between that and LSD. You're watching this video now. Yes, I have done both. I'm telling you this because I like experimenting.
Yeah, why not, man?
I don't do heavy trips ever. The most amount of psilocybin I've done, so mushrooms, is 4.5 grams, and I don't think I got the full dose effect. But
444.
Ooh, nice.
My angels are looking at me, and it's the 4th today. I have to check what that means. Go ahead, don't worry.
I'm just taking that in too. It means something could be here too. You never know. Who knows? Maybe maybe the other realm is like they can hear anyone talking anywhere.
Your messenger is telling you to have faith and be confident that things are going in the right direction.
Oh my god! Is that for you or me?
I don't know. It's here. It's here for both of us.
Oh my god, that's cool, man. I mean, like, some people think that's crazy. My dad would be like, "You're nuts."
Says come back to 444. The angels are telling you that you are resonating with the universe in perfect synchronicity.
But you know what? Hearing that calms my heart. My stomach everything's balanced right now. I've rebalanced myself. It's weird.
How crazy is that?
Wow. But yeah, like when I leave, based on that trip, I want to feel because I do the trip, the next day, I'm more like I want to be fully packed. Oh yeah, the pack. Shit. I want to be fully packed, then trip, then leave Tuesday and be like, holy crap! I'm on this plane flight at 8:30 p.m.
Yeah.
And because like post trip, I'm just gonna be like, what the heck? Yeah. Cool. And I'm gonna get all these answers, and then I'll be in London, then I'll go to Australia, and then when I get to Bali, like you kind of like reignited. I'm gonna thank you. You reignited this thought process on Bali because I was getting caught up in the fact that the person I'm going with, like, it's just communication has been tough, and like you told me earlier, like you're kind of like expecting him to be on your communication time zone and whatever, and he's in his own world doing whatever he's got to do, and I think I'm just getting frustrated because I like answers and I like organization, and this is exactly it, to slow down and to just do or be okay with what is. So it is what it is, and that's all. Yeah. You know, like if I go to Bali and I make more money, That is what it is. If I go to Bali and someone steals something and I lose all my stuff, great. I'm gonna go buy a new Mac.
Yeah.
Actually, I don't use Mac, but I'm gonna go buy a Mac. Why not?
Something will happen for you.
You just do it. And it's been amazing because the biggest change I've made, and I think a lot of us need to learn this, is to detach from money. And a lot of us have this problem. I had a very big issue with money because I was raised with a family that was concerned about money. And moving back home, I had to reignite that flame by seeing it around everything I did.
Yeah.
And it was hard because, some of the choices I want to make in my life, I got a lot of judgment from my family, and it held me back a lot. I'm 27. I feel like I could have been at this stage sooner, but again, slow down. Life is not a race. I really think the goal is to slow down.
Yeah.
I want to slow down because I know right now I'm doing a lot, and with the video editing I'm doing now, it's more speed, but for some reason it feels right because it's like passion. It's heart-filled. It's fire. Yeah. The work I do for my clients, my clients post videos and get leads and make sales. Still, that's not me doing it.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, I'm making it, but it's not me getting the result. And I want the result. I want people to hear what I have to say. And by being in Bali, I think it's about content too, because they'll be like, this guy, like he just picked up and left. He moved back home with his parents. Honestly, the real goal I wanted to do, because I wanted to sell that car, give the money back to my family. I wanted to, sell my bed, sell everything, and just because I'm very minimalistic. I don't own a lot, and I wanted to just leave and not come back. But I can't do that because I lose my citizenship here. But
yeah, you'll come back. But you're gonna. I think you're gonna stay there a lot longer than you think.
Yeah, I'll look up obviously I want to come back for May, June, and just then take a couple months here, then go back somewhere else, Spain or something. Because the moment you do something once, you get so conditioned to it, and then the next time you do it, the first time you do something, you understand, you kind of learn, and then for me, the next time I do something, it's perfect because I learn how to handle it, and that's you feel okay about it. You feel like you can do it because you've taught yourself that you can handle the hardship. Yeah. And I haven't really had a hardship in my life. I had a pretty good life. My parents raised me well. They loved me, helped me with college. They bought the car. They gave me love. And from time to time, I was a big asshole, but I even am now. My mom and I get into arguments every day. It's hilarious. But we make up and hug. My dad and I, it's kind of like an apathetic resolution where we just move on and just say, But
that's dads, right?
Just for some reason it is, and I don't know how it was with you, but it's just it's different. I think on the feminine side, it's more you can hug and make up. On the male side, I really if it was more like that too, it'd be more powerful. But the thing is, I've had this. I'm showing gratitude basically. I'm realizing it now because I'm leaving, and I'm scared, but I'm also excited as heck because I don't know what's on the other side.
That's good. I like that.
Who knows? Because I recently discovered that Australia's currency is basically the same as Canada's. Go live in Australia, man. Drink scorpion blood.
Yeah, right? There's a bunch of stuff that's going to happen for you when you do it. But once you get there, that's when it's going to start happening. Because when you get to Bali, you're going to go into overdrive with the content.
And that's all I'm going to do. It's one thing. And my routine will be perfect because, of course, I'll have to learn the culture there and what I can get for food. But if I have to, because I might go back to eating meat. Yeah. Because one of the things I learned is that they say the Buddha talks about this, Buddhism talks about this, where even if you're plant-based and you're promoting veganism and you're against meat and all that, and you're doing it for the cause, you think you're doing a good thing, you're addicted to something, and it's not a good thing. You have to be okay with what is, in my opinion. I believe in that. Definitely. And if I so happen to have, I went out, for example, I'll just use an example. I went up north to get my body worked on. I have a woman I go to. People say, why do you travel 2 hours to get your body worked on? I'm like, because she understands me. She's personable. She actually knows her stuff, and she's not like other massage therapists. She knows how to reset the entire body. She's fixed all my issues. Yeah. Physically, I guess, in that sense. I went to a Chinese restaurant. I love their hot and sour soup. You know what I'm talking about, the hot and sour Chinese soup?
Yeah, I've heard of that.
It has. I found out it has pork, egg whites, and chicken in it, and I'm eating it, and I'm like, and I was there with a friend, and she's like, oh, there's this in it. I'm like, well, whatever. And you know what? In that moment, that thought came back, and I'm like, it is what it is. Because I could have made that the worst day of my life. Because
yeah. You broke it. It's horrible.
But it's not about that anymore. It's about if someone offers you food or you go somewhere and like you feel like you can do it, do a little bit. On Christmas, we go to friends for Christmas, and we're Jewish, but we celebrate. And some of their friends came and brought this homemade chicken soup with the matzah balls. It's like, no way am I not having the soup. Had the soup, loved it. I didn't eat the chicken bits. There was like a few pieces, but sometimes you just have to enjoy.
Yeah.
And life is short, right? I'm 27. I feel like I was 22 like a year ago.
Yeah, that's how it
or
works.
23 when I moved home.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's scary, actually. The past 3.5 years have gone by really quick.
Yeah, wait till you're 32. You won't even remember 27 happening.
I keep forgetting you're 32.
Yeah, right?
That's 5 years.
Yeah, that's right.
Yo, imagine where we're both going to be in 5 years.
Oh, man, it's going to be great.
I'll be 32, and I'll say, man, remember where you were when you were 32? Now look where I am, and I'm 32. Now look where you are, and you're 37?
All right, that's enough with the numbers. Fuck.
I could say... and done.
37? Fuck.
Does that scare you?
No, I actually welcome it because I know when I'm that age, I'm gonna like have kids and stuff, because that's like the plan that I have in place. Not really the plan, but like I can see that happening.
The
like
Goggins plan.
Yeah, like I kind of accepted that I'm not gonna have kids super young. I'm gonna have them when I'm older. I guess. But yeah, it doesn't scare me because I know I'm gonna stay young looking because I already look
genetics
good. Yeah, my genetics are pretty good.
That could be what's happening with me too. Maybe I'm black too. There's like white black people, right?
The men in my family, they hit like 35 and then they stop aging. It's weird.
That's strange. It must be a gene thing.
Yeah, definitely.
Stop aging. Your dicks are big.
and
stronger.
And they just start doing shit properly. Like they just get better.
Yeah, look at look at like bodybuilders who are black.
For the most part.
Bodybuilders, like who's that? There's this guy who's like 48 who competes in Mr. Olympia. Dexter Jackson.
Dexter Jackson.
He's always, that guy's been doing it, the Olympia, for like 15 plus years, probably 12 plus years.
Really?
Probably longer. Like since like the Ronnie Coleman days.
Holy fuck.
He's never like, he's almost 50 and he looks, he's incredible.
Yeah.
So there definitely is something to do with like the black genetics.
Well, yeah, it's definitely the genetics, but like people in my family just have like better genetics than most.
Have you ever like gone? Because I know like you have a built physique, but have you ever gone hardcore and like built like a massive ripped body and just gone all in?
No, that's what I'm doing from 32 to like 40. I'm gonna be in like the greatest shape of my life, like ever.
Yo, I can't wait to see it because like I guarantee you, like
I'm gonna do it like The Rock.
Yeah, like I feel like as you waking up at 3 and working out.
Yeah, basically.
Mark Wahlberg does that. Who's that guy? He's that like that British comedian dude on YouTube. I think it's Jeremy something.
I don't know.
He always like he went for a workout with Mark Wahlberg at like 3 a.m.
Oh, really?
And it's like his home gym, and I'm like, this is his home gym, dude, man. I was like,
it's straight up gym.
Like it's you're a celebrity and you have a gym. Like it's crazy, you know. Which is why maybe being an actor and a voice actor would be pretty effective, you know. Just do it for a couple of years, suck it up.
Yeah, why not? Right?
That or just go into the porno industry. The pornography industry actually isn't that bad.
Man, somebody I interviewed, like, he got a ripped body, and then he ended up being a dancer for 10 years, male dancer.
Yeah, like
just killing it.
I've done photo shoots too, like that, but you get ripped. Like it's not hard, but and I say it's funny. I say it's not hard. Like it's actually easy to get in shape because I've learned to build willpower.
Yeah, right.
INFJs also have very strong willpower, so you'll find Sherry has, if she wants to do something, she'll be hardcore at it if she chooses to.
Yeah, she's like that with her job.
Yeah.
She's like that with her job heavily. She just needs to get like that more with life. When she starts doing that, like I always say, like if she focused on like a business, like if she had her own business and she focused on it like she does her job, she'd be a millionaire right now.
Oh, probably.
She's like exponentially better at her job than like anybody I've seen like working these type of jobs and moving up quicker than like if people knew that they could move up that fast in jobs, a lot more entrepreneurs would be working jobs. Because like she just did it like just leaps. It wasn't even like steps. It's like leaps, just like nothing. It's crazy.
When you know what you want and you know how to get in the doors and all that stuff, you can. It's not manipulation. I know I use that word, but like you know how to like exploit through and get there quicker.
Well, like what she does, like it's very much like you. She learns all the information that's involved of what she has to do, and then she just does it.
Yeah, it's like what I'm doing now.
Like she just learns every single thing. Okay, that's what I have to do. Okay, and it's just like does it.
Boom.
It's very focused, very focused. Yeah, willpower is like really big that way.
Yeah, that's how I am with my stuff. And I was saying about like photo shoots and stuff because like it's Yeah, like you're talking about like the male dancer and stuff. Like it's very like it's a different lifestyle. I think I brought that up for the reason because like why did I bring that up? I bring up the weirdest shit, don't I?
Genetics.
Yeah,
That's I noticed that, and I'll say it again because
I go all
when you get to 2 hours and 56 minutes, it takes a weird turn. That's what happens.
Yeah, because like when we get comfortable, right? Because usually because when I used to video when I used to film. Since I'm getting tired too, I've only had an apple and celery juice today.
I haven't had anything.
Wow, your poor body.
Yeah, I was running and I went to the gym. I just didn't have time.
No, you'll be fine though. It's not like
I actually had a handful of peanuts. That's what I had today.
You know, man, those peanuts are kind of rough.
And some almond milk.
Okay.
What's wrong with peanuts?
Polyunsaturated fats.
Oh yeah, that kind of stuff.
But like, I mean, again, like it is what it is. You do it in moderation. So I'm not here to critique you. That's me being a dick.
I never thought of that though. I never think of that.
The peanuts I don't like because, like, I mean, I like almonds, Brazil nuts. I like sometimes like I even like I was against nuts for a while. I got sold on the whole like because I was against all polyunsaturated fats because it contributes to a lot of inflammation in the body.
Really?
Yeah, and it was weird because polyunsaturated fats are in almost everything. Because when you look at like vegetable oil, it's like the number one thing, and what's in everything we eat when we go out. You go to a restaurant, it's all cooked in cheap oil. Like companies just want to make money, so it's very rare you find a restaurant that cooks with coconut or avocado oil or even just ghee. It's like like it's very unless you're like a vegan shop and like they use like flaxseed oil. Even flaxseed oil is an issue. It depends on what you're looking to try and do.
Wow.
Like if you want to improve your testosterone, that's your one focus. You cut out all these things, but if then your liver takes a shot and something else is off, well, you better start bringing back these things because it's not just a one fix. It's not because here's the thing I've really seen is health food. Everyone says something about health food and like you have to eat a banana a day or you eat 3 a day, and if you have a date, it's good for this. What about dragon fruit? And there's all these good like you can get everything can be good for you, but if you have it all at once, you're just going to be on the can. So like you want to figure out what are you actually trying to solve here. So like when I say that's not good, it depends on what you're trying to solve.
Man, I'm trying to lose fat. That's the one thing I'm trying to solve. I'm trying to lose fat, lose weight.
So bring back the carbs.
Bring back the carbs?
You're not doing carbs?
I am actually.
There you go. Yeah, because you stopped doing keto for a while.
Yeah, I stopped, but I was thinking of going back to it. What do you think?
I don't know. You're trying to cure your liver. I wouldn't do it.
That's true.
Too much fat messes your because I know you're trying to cleanse your liver. Too much fat, a high fat diet will mess your liver up because it's going to create and secrete more bile to control the fat, and it also does the same thing to help manage high protein diets. So if you do both, which is fat and protein and keto, well, then your liver gets fucked up. You end up gaining weight. But
maybe that's what happened. Fuck.
Well, is that because that doesn't happen to everybody? Some people get results.
And I did, but then all of a sudden they went away. They went away.
The results went away?
Yeah.
Because the body needs glucose. But I think keto is good to short term, like a month of keto or like a week keto, a week off. Like it's okay to do like low carb.
Yeah.
Like you don't need a lot. Like
I was doing like no carb. I was like,
yeah, it's hard. I mean, like that's where thyroid issues come. Like I just found out I have like my thyroid numbers are a bit off. I might have hypothyroidism, which means like I'll gain weight. But
like I told you, I wasn't producing any glutathione.
Yeah, that's a big one.
I was just like at 0. I was like, what the fuck?
And that's what I wonder now because I'm doing glutathione, so maybe I'm doing too much. Maybe that's causing a backlash because there's a balance between like glutathione and other, I guess we can call them like, I don't know, vitamins, minerals, whatever they're called.
Yeah.
When you get into the specifics of the body, there's a lot there, and like I don't think we went into that today, but like there's a lot I've been looking at, and it's crazy. Like, I've been looking at like viral infections and how almost everything medical science says, like simplex viruses, HPV is a big one that people have.
Yeah.
All of it's caused by EBV, which is Epstein-Barr virus, which is all in the liver, and it hides there. And then if you cure the Epstein-Barr virus with, which almost everyone has, with L-lysine, which is used to help with simplex as well, and HPV, which is like a fungal virus, when EBV is under control, you have less issues with parasites, which means you have less gut issues, which means the prebiotics and probiotics we spoke about earlier that some people might not know about, but now know come into play. You heal your gut, better mind, better flow, better control. We've been talking for for 3 hours.
Yeah.
And like I'm starting to lose a bit of like, I'm like, well, it's been a while, but like I'm still in control. I still can think, but there's bits of time where I'm like, I forget what we like my short-term memory gets hit of it.
Really?
but my clarity's gone up because I tested this. I lost my memory when I took 2 vaccines.
It's so weird.
Well, I'm not against I'm against vaccines because of the ingredients. I think there's natural remedies to things.
I think they got to
yeah.
step it up in the ingredient department and letting everybody know what's in it and actually looking at the side effects and being honest with people about those side effects. That's what I think they need to do.
Yeah, and I won't go into it here because this is really, like, if this is going on YouTube, it might block you, so I don't want to get into it. But like,
really,
it could, yeah, because people are getting.
God.
Well, it's a bought out industry, so I'm not going to talk. I mean, for anything that flags it, but the industry's bought out, and in 1986 they got the rights to buy it out and put anything into it. To start, because like back in the 30s, like 1930s, pharmaceutical grade companies, the meat industry, and I think like the vaccination world, they all came together, like government, and they all formed these rules that no one had a say in. And then now it's built up to the point where everyone was like trending. That's where the diet trends came from, like high fat versus low fat versus no sugar when there's actually sugar, and like sugar's the problem. No, it's refined sugar, but you can have cane, like you can have natural sugar. It's really funny. So,
fuck. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Well, it's 5. It's 5.
Whatever.
You have to wrap it up at 5.
I can't. I mean, I have to drive home in traffic now, so I can sit. So here's another thing. Now I can sit here and overthink that my client's gonna be waiting for me. You know, we have a launch on Monday. It's been so pushed, and I don't even know if I'll have the site ready for Monday.
Yeah.
And I have to trip on Monday, and I'm not saying no to the trip because of a freaking website project.
No, of course not. We crazy.
I'm gonna tell him I'm tripping on Monday. I know this might come in the way. I'm gonna do my best to get it done, and that's it.
It's amazing.
But like, if he says I want my money back, cool. Here's your money back.
Done.
But that's not gonna happen because we've done our work together, and it's been great.
But yeah. I think we got to wrap it up.
Want to wrap it up?
3 hours. I put my limit at 3 hours, I think.
You should push the limit, man.
Nah.
David Goggins, man. 10 hours. Let's go.
10 hours. Wow.
Let's now start
100-mile podcast.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes, we do the podcast while walking
until we're shitting ourselves.
And then we'll have the data on, and when we get to max 10 gig of our data plan, we'll say 100 gig. Let's go over.
Holy fuck.
No, I'm kidding. I got to figure out the phone actually. Good thing I brought that up.
But yeah, with your trip, I hope you find your passion, and I hope you become more of yourself, because I can't wait to see.
Yo, I'll come back.
Everything that it is.
Yo, I'll be making content there, and you'll be like, dude.
Yeah, your content's gonna be sick.
You'll see like, yo, it's happening. I'll be like, what's happening? Don't worry, it's happening.
Yeah.
That's you, man.
I definitely see that happening. But
so
thank you so much for coming on, man. Again.
Yeah.
The second time. I think you're the first person that I've had on twice. I've never had anybody else on twice before.
Yeah, because the moment I think about that, I think about the other podcast you helped with, and that's not this. So
yeah,
I don't think. Yeah, you're right. There probably haven't been reoccurring guests.
No,
well,
just you.
I just think we like mesh well in conversation. Like we can talk for 3 hours, but we know that there's a lot of gems that will come out of this for people because everyone's in a different spot in life.
I just I enjoyed it because I actually just found out a bunch about you that I didn't know. Because I didn't know like where
the
you
past
were coming
probably.
From. Yeah.
I thought I told you about that.
No.
There's more to it too, man. There's a lot more to it. Like anyone else.
I didn't know the whole evolution and everything, and I love it because just like everybody, you thought you were doing something that you were meant to do. And then, like, after time, you just saw that you were doing it for the wrong reasons, and you started stepping into something else that you were doing for the right reasons, and that's when everything started flourishing for you. And, like, I think that's the biggest takeaway anybody should take from this is, like, you know, do what comes natural. Like, literally, you went from gaming and doing that, and you got good at that, and now you're literally in front of Adobe, which is like another game, and now you're amazing at that. And it's like you just did what was natural, and I think that's like that's what people have to do in life.
Yeah, man.
Really do what comes natural.
And you'd be surprised how gaming and Adobe have similar things in common.
And also trust that it's gonna work out from doing that.
Gaming also taught me leadership.
Definitely.
I ran a 40-man community.
There you go. Right. I mean,
I organized the online community, and guess what I did? It was the back-end Facebook group. It was the website. It was the forums. I didn't want to be the leader. I was just the technical dude.
There you go.
Hindsight almost to what happened in the future.
See what I mean? Like, you gotta. I keep saying that, like, when it comes to your passion, you have to listen very, very close, very, very close to what your passion is in life, because it's shy at first.
It is.
I was telling you that with like the speech I wrote. It's very shy at first. It's not. It doesn't yell and scream. Like now that you've gotten to know it and it knows you better, now it'll like smack you in the head and be like, "Hey man, what's going on?" You guys are brothers now. But like when you're first trying to find your passion in life, it's like it's so quiet, right? Like you were doing that, like that one thing that you just said. It's like, oh, that should have told you that you were supposed to get into like what you're into now, like staying on the computer and like doing that. And like instead, like you just move past it because it was like so quiet. It was just so quiet. It was like, hey, this is fun, right? And you're like, I'm just playing a game, just doing this. And
Contributed, man.
yeah.
So and then it's like, why did I go back, right? Why am I still playing the same game from 2004?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, guys. So that's it. Take it easy, guys.
Thank you.
3 hours and 6 minutes, 40 seconds. Peace.
Peace out.
Process. Well, there you have it, guys. That was Jamie Nudelman. Me and Jamie went in on that one. Our first conversation, I believe, was like 48 minutes. And that was like when we first met each other. And then this conversation after being friends for a year or two, I think about 2 years now, maybe 3. We did 3 hours, 8 minutes. So that was really cool. Or 3 hours, 7 minutes or something. But yeah, really cool. Really, really cool. And I was so happy to learn all that about him. Because like when you're friends with somebody, you don't exactly question them so much. Well, some people do, like I do. But like not so much because I don't want them to get uncomfortable. Like people know that I interview people, so if I start like asking too many questions, people get a little thrown off. Sometimes get a little defensive. Sometimes they're just like, why is this all about me right now? And they don't like that. So it was really cool to be able to sit with one of my friends and actually find out a lot about him the way we just did. Really, really cool. But as always, guys, like, share, subscribe, rate, review. And also, check Jamie out, Mr. Nudelman. You know me, I'm on Instagram right now looking up his Instagram. Why? Because I'm professional. His website, jamienudelman.com/get-started. So definitely, and that's /. So jamienudelman.com/get-started/. That is where you can get started if you want to work with Jamie. If you just want to check out his Instagram, it's Jamie Nudelman. And you know what? At this point in his life, I think I would be remiss not to mention his lovely lady, Katya. I think when we filmed this, I don't know that he was this deep into this lady yet. But yeah, she's someone to check out too. They kind of work together. Her Instagram is Livestream Katya. And if you're checking her stuff out, you're checking his stuff out because I'm sure he has a lot to do with her amazing video editing and her amazing structured website, 20knation.com. All right, guys, until next week, this episode, again, brought to you by My Curiosity. Peace.